I would normally say, in regards to someone like Kathy Griffin has lost her mind, but she had no mind left to lose. I mean, she lost her mind when Trump came down the escalator, and it progressively got worse until she destroyed her career in his first term. But she dropped a new video today, and it's really going viral. Everyone's talking about it, and it is it's really sad. There's so many of these liberal people. Some of them are celebrities like her that have these platforms, and like her, Kathy Griffin, Rosie O'Donnell, Rachel Maddow, basically the entire on-air staff at MS Now. The Trump derangement syndrome, it's their whole life revolves around hating President Trump. And, I'm going to play you the Kathy Griffin audio here, and we'll talk about it and take your calls. But, when the Otto-Penn Biden administration was in, we took that as an opportunity to get our greatest president back in the White House. And we did. We didn't sit around like these people with these bizarre delusions. Let me share this. This is Kathy Griffin. Listen to what she wants to do.
Those of you that are awake, that see what's going on, what do you think the solution is? I think the murder of Renee Good, the murder of Alex Preddy, putting children on planes and taking them to detention centers, which are really concentration camps. Call it what it is. They're concentration camps in the United States of America in 2026. So take that in. And I know you don't want to participate in something radical. I don't either. I wish I could just go on the road and do my funny stories about celebrities or making fun of politicians, but not even have to acknowledge this. But it is happening all around you. Yeah, it's happening around you. I live in Los Angeles. It's happening at targeted places in Los Angeles. And I think it's time to talk to the neighbors in real life. It's time to talk to your neighbors, find out if they're MAGA or not. Sorry, but we...
Okay, now let's slow down there. She wants you to talk to your neighbors and find out if they're MAGA? I mean, what she wants... she is calling on Americans to go door to door and identify MAGA people? What's the point of that?
You have to know who's on our team and start to plan. Is there a way we can do something as a community? When I hear from my followers in Minnesota, they describe a very sophisticated channel of a system of things that they do to help one another. And they use encrypted apps. And like I said, everyone has whistles and honks their horn, but they organize in small groups. And they have told me that they learned this from the George Floyd incident, because George Floyd was murdered 20 blocks away from these other murders, roughly. And so they said they learned a lot from that experience. So I'm just telling you guys, live your life, but be conscious of this. And if you're silent, you're complicit.
Wow. Okay. If you're, she wants you to go door to door, and the radio show will begin in less than a minute, guys. So I'll have to reopen when we go on live on the air. But she wants you to go door to door, identify people who are MAGA. And what are you supposed to do with that information, by the way? And if you don't do this, you're complicit. So you're an accessory to MAGA. This is insane. Okay, we've got 30 seconds. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. And yeah, she's completely out of her mind. I mean, there's no getting around it. She is out of her mind. All right, stand by. We have 10 seconds, and the radio show will begin. And she's not the only one we're going to hear from today. I got a lot of stories to cover. Stand by. Here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We got a lot to cover today. It is Open Phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday. On Friday's show, Open Phones on Friday, we call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't have to comment on the things that I bring up or Steve when he joins us, but I got a lot of things that of interest to cover that I'm going to get into today, and hopefully you'll find them interesting enough to comment on. But the show prep is up to you and the listening audience on Friday's show. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. All right, so Kathy Griffin has come out of, I guess, what was she in? The Witness Protection Program? Was she committed and out of the Trump derangement syndrome ward of the local hospital in LA? I don't know. I haven't seen nor heard of Kathy Griffin in years when she self-destructed in President Trump's first term with that insane photograph that she posed for. And she's taken to the internet. Like many other Trump derangement syndrome suffering, well, it's hard to call her a celebrity. Is she really a celebrity? I know she used to be a comedian, but when's the last time you heard Kathy Griffin say something funny? It's like Joy Behar supposed to be a comedian. We're not laughing with her at her jokes. We're laughing at her with her derangement. But Kathy Griffin took to the internet yesterday and posted a video, and she is calling on Trump derangement syndrome sufferers like her, liberals, to come together and do some things. And let's go through it. This is Kathy Griffin.
Those of you that are awake, that see what's going on, what do you think the solution is? I think the murder of Renee Good, the murder of Alex Preddy, putting children on planes and taking them to detention centers, which are really concentration camps. Call it what it is. They're concentration camps.
They're not concentration camps, but whatever. Yeah.
In the United States of America in 2026. So take that in, and I know you don't want to participate in something radical. I don't either. I wish I could just go on the road and do my funny stories about celebrities or making fun of politicians, but not even have to acknowledge this.
See, things are too serious for her to do comedy. It's not that she can't fill up comedy theaters anymore, right? You know, as opposed to telling us the truth, she wants to say, things are too serious to tell jokes. I can't tell jokes. I've got to do this.
Fun of politicians, but not even have to acknowledge this. But it is happening all around you. It's happening around you. I live in Los Angeles. It's happening at targeted places in Los Angeles.
Yeah, where the illegals are. That's right.
And I think it's time to talk to the neighbors in real life. It's time to talk to your neighbors, find out if they're MAGA or not.
Wow. So Kathy Griffin is calling on you to leave your home, start knocking on doors and finding out who's MAGA in your neighborhood. Well, what are you supposed to do with that intel? Enter it in some app or something? What the heck?
And I think it's time to talk to the neighbors in real life. It's time to talk to your neighbors, find out if they're MAGA or not. Sorry, but we have to know who's on our team and start to plan. Is there a way we can do something as a community?
What is she talking about? You know, we have elections every 2 years for the Congress. We have a presidential election every 4 years. So whatever she's talking about doing is above and beyond the democratic process. What is she doing? Is she trying to rally together some type of mob, Kathy Griffin?
When I hear from my followers in Minnesota, they describe a very sophisticated channel of a system of things that they do to help one another. And they use encrypted apps. And like I said, everyone has
encrypted apps. Who the heck do any of you use encrypted apps? No, I don't use encrypted apps.
And honks their horn, but they organize in small groups. And they have told me that they learned this from the George Floyd incident because George Floyd was murdered 20 blocks away from these other murders, roughly. And so they said they learned a lot from that experience.
Oh, yes.
So I'm just telling you guys, live your life, but be conscious of this. And if you're silent, you're complicit.
Wow. So if you don't join Team Kathy Griffin and identify the MAGA people in your neighborhood, and you don't rally together in encrypted apps, if you don't do these things, it's just as if you are MAGA yourself. Wow. This is the world. Liberals just are, they're childlike in their thinking, and they're so evil on top of it. All right, I'm going to go to the phones. I've got so much to share. Let's hear your thoughts on this. However, it is Friday. It is open phones every Friday on the program. Open Maga Mike Friday. Hopefully this one goes better than last open Maga Mike Friday we did. The show prep is up to you and this listening audience. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's Doc from Texas.
Oh, hey, Doc. Are you joining Kathy Griffin's team to identify the MAGA people on your street?
No, because I don't care. Because I don't care wherever you are. That's your business.
Mm-hmm.
That's your business. That's your business.
That's your
you
business.
MAGA, you MAGA.
That's right. Proud.
Like I said,
MAGA for life.
Hey, brother, do you, bro? Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
I'll
Be
do
proud.
me.
Be proud.
I'll do me. Oh, my goodness. All these
Like I
liberal
said, y'all
friends.
MAGAs.
Why'd you
y'all
call?
MAGAs,
Why'd
y'all
you call me?
proud.
Why'd you call me today?
Because I'm calling you. You the one started. Okay, what I'm calling is two things. Kristen Nome. Brian, she's not going to be around long.
Hold on a second. Let me answer these phones. You say Kristi Noem's not going to be around much longer. What does that mean?
Trump is going to fire her.
Why?
She gonna resign
Okay,
on
slow
Trump
down. Why would Donald Trump fire Kristi Noem?
Because she gets to the point now to where he can't deal with her anymore because he doesn't want to. Trump doesn't want to deal with her anymore.
Oh, really? So you have sources. President Trump communicates with you?
No, Ryan. No, I don't have sources. I'm just saying what I think. Ryan.
Why do you think this?
Like you say, because I just told you, man.
What has Kristi Noem done that would get President Trump to want to fire her? Could you tell me?
So much. She is basically she threw Trump under the bus. She said, "Well, President told me to say it." He
Okay,
told me to say it.
Kristi Noem. Let me just tell you, Doc. Kristi Noem has successfully done more than anyone could imagine in a short time. Let me tell you what Kristi Noem is. Let me tell you in your dreams.
Excuse me, and she's gone.
Let me tell you what Kristi Noem has done. Okay? Kristi Noem has successfully organized, run, and is currently operating with no hiccups except for these lunatics in Minneapolis. The largest deportation of illegal criminals, in the history of this country. She has, as Secretary of Homeland Security, not only has she successfully been operating the largest criminal deportation program in the history of the United States, she shut down the southern border of the United States. There has not been any legal crossing at the southern border in 8 months. She also has inspired many illegals to self-deport. I'm going to talk about one of those coming up in just a little bit.
And she's gone.
Why would he get rid of? Why would he get rid of? Why would?
She's gone.
Stop saying. What are you, a parrot? Stop repeating yourself. I'm
Brian,
going to ask you a question. I know. She gone.
If me and you were personal friends, if me and you were friends, well, I could see you every day. I'll bet you $100.
I don't bet. I don't gamble. But so she's no. Stop talking. I'm leading up to a question. So what she's done is absolutely amazing. So I have two questions.
She's gone.
Excuse me.
Gone.
I have two questions, and I'm going to ask you this. Listen here. Here's the first question. If she's doing such a poor job, why are you and all your liberal friends wanting her gone? The fact that you all want her gone is a reason for Trump to keep her.
She's gone. She's gone.
All right, get off the phone, parrot. I mean, he's just going to repeat the same sentence over and over again. How can I have a conversation with that? He's like Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy. Just says Groot over and over again. The fact that all these liberals are saying that Kristi Noem should be gone is a strong indicator that she's doing a darn good job, isn't it? Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring, all for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. All you have to do right now is call, no matter where you're located, 833-283-5050. It's a free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's Home Security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notification, and remote keypad access so you can check in no matter where you are. Call them right now. Take advantage of this offer. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. Call us on hold. You stand by. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our first break of this Open Phone, Open Maga Mic Friday and be right back. All right, for people just joining in, let me play this Kathy Griffin video again. She's out of her mind.
Those of you that are awake, that see what's going on, what do you think the solution is? I think the murder of Renee Good, the murder of Alex Preddy, putting children on planes and taking them to detention centers, which are really concentration camps. Call it what it is. They're concentration camps in the United States of America in 2026. So take that in, and I know you don't want to participate in something radical. I don't either. I wish I could just go on the road and do my funny stories about celebrities or making fun of politicians, but not even.
Okay, I know you don't want to take a part in anything radical. I don't either, but wow.
Even have to acknowledge
Is this
this,
sedition?
but it is happening all around you. It's happening around you. I live in Los Angeles. It's happening at targeted places in Los Angeles. And I think it's time to talk to the neighbors in real life. It's time to talk to your neighbors, find out if they're MAGA or not.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, but we have to know who's on our team and start to plan. Is there a way we can do something as a community? When I hear from my followers in Minnesota, they describe a very sophisticated channel of a system of things that they do to help one another.
Oh.
And they use encrypted apps. And like I said, everyone has whistles and honks their horn, but they organize in small groups. And they have told me that they learned this from the George Floyd incident because George Floyd was murdered 20 blocks away from these other murders, roughly. And so they said they learned a lot from that experience. So I'm just telling you guys, live your life, but be conscious of this. And if you're silent, you're complicit. Sorry, I know I'm being a judgy bitch, but that's how I feel. Here I am being preachy.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh man. All right. We are a little more than a minute from being back on the radio. So we're still in radio station break. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take the calls when we're back on the radio. But I thought I asked a very good question of Doc. Didn't I? Hold on one second. Sorry. I thought I asked Doc a very good question. If Kristi Noem is doing such a bad job, why are all the Democrats saying she should be fired and gone? Right? I mean, to me, that is a resume enhancer. You know, the more I hear them say that, the more I say, well, Trump needs to keep her. All right, now I'm going to go back to the phones when we get back from the break. The number is toll-free. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. And it is Open Maga Mic Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. You don't even have to comment on the topics that I bring up, although I would like you to because I think they're pretty good topics. All right. Okay. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. I'm Brian from Rhode Island. How you doing, man?
You know, as funny as this is, I was born in Rhode Island.
Oh, well, I'm in Pawtucket. I'm not in Providence, but
I was born in Warwick.
Warwick. Oh man, yeah. That's like
a dump probably now.
Oh
right?
yeah, they got rid of the Hooters. That's
yeah. My dad was in the Marines. He was stationed at a naval base there.
Post Road, right?
Yeah.
Post Road.
I don't know. I was like 6 months old when we left. Go Hooters.
I wanted to thank you for inspiring me to get up so early in the morning. And I usually been catching you at 5 or with those little before the radio show, 5:30, whatever it is, 5:45.
My pre-show.
Yeah, we're still missing a 6-lane highway on 95. Just letting you know, it's only been 4 years since COVID.
Okay.
Hold on, Healy. Is it? Yeah, Governor Healy from Massachusetts. She said that she was going to sign all kinds of executive orders about not letting ICE into like private operations as far as I don't know.
Well,
churches
the governor has no authority over the federal government. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I think that she did a whole thing on the television where I thought it was just like it's more like flexing, and you got no jurisdiction, right?
That's right. Zero less.
I want to let you know too. A lot of local businesses in Rhode Island. A lot of how it's all industrial and it's all like 2-lane streets and stuff. All right, they didn't do that. They had this whole thing with a budget for the salt and saline, and they usually put it down.
Well, listen, I know it's open Maga Mike Friday and it's open phones, but I do have to have some quality control. I mean, I know, if we start talking about salt and saline and 4-lane highways, I'm going to lose the audience.
They didn't put it down, so I'm talking about smiling.
All right. Hey, listen, I do appreciate the call, and thanks for watching, but I can't let you remember what happened on last Open Phone Friday. Oh, my. Remember that, Mike? Oh, my goodness. That was the worst. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Victor from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Hey, Victor.
Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the space program and what I remember. I used to get these books from NASA called Spin-Off, and I would get people to read them to me on cassettes so I could...
Well, yeah. Right now, I guess you're bringing this because yesterday we're about to launch our first moon launch since 1972 here at NASA in Florida. Artemis 2, going to the moon.
Yes. Well, I remember the big deal when Telstar was launched back in '62. They would break into regular programming for 15 minutes of Telstar bringing a program from France.
Yeah.
And it said at the bottom of the screen, live
satellite.
from France.
Yeah, because they had satellites for the first time, right, and all that. Satellite television, yes.
I remember the first weather satellite.
But can we talk about things that are more recent?
Sure.
Oh my goodness, I'm in trouble today. I'm in big trouble today. It is open phones on Friday, open Maga Mike Friday, and you remember what the late great Rush Limbaugh used to say? It's the day we turn the show over to rank amateurs. This is why we don't do open phones today. I love you guys, but we can't talk about salt on the highway or remembering 1962. I'm not trying to be rude, but we got to be, you got to be relevant.
Well, really looking forward to the launch. I think it's on February 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
When they
depending on the weather
and go around the moon.
Yeah, this is exciting. The Artemis 2 launch. It's I'm gonna hopefully if it's a clear day or night when it launches, I'll be able to see it from my driveway, and I'm very excited. I've never seen a moon launch before, and it's getting zero coverage. Artemis 3. This is going to orbit the moon. Artemis. By the way, thanks for the call. Artemis 3 is going to land on the moon, and it's scheduled for later this year. We're going to have our first rocket to the moon with people on it. There's 4 astronauts on this, and it's launching next week. They're loading it with the fuel for the launch over the weekend. It's on the launch pad right now, and it's getting no publicity. And the reason it's not getting publicity is because the media hate Trump. We're going to have a moon landing, the first one since 1972, in President Trump's second term, and it's driving them nuts. And on Artemis 2, there's 4 astronauts. One's a woman, one's African American. The first woman an African American going to the moon next week, and they're not even telling you about it in the news because they think it makes Trump look good. You're on the air. What's your name? Oh, hold on. And the phones are ringing off the hook. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Ben from Pompano. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Ben. I'm telling you, these calls today, I it's open phones, but it reminds me of about 3 or 4 years ago, the guy that called in and wanted to talk about frozen peas versus fresh peas, and I'm like, oh, my goodness.
It's like, I was listening. I'm like, I got to bail this guy out. These
Oh, my
people are
gosh.
calling. It's like old man yells at cloud. It's like Abe Simpson. They just ramble back in like '02, how they used to be able to buy a pair of shoes for a nickel. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, call
Yeah.
Joyce Kaufman. She'd talk to you for her whole show about that because she's so desperate for the calls.
I know.
You know, I mean,
heard-
my
I
goodness.
heard 2 in a row.
Oh,
One about salting roads and one about the 1962 like moon launch or whatever. But
hey, the
I
Telstar
wanted
satellite. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, no.
Oh, my goodness.
I think so. They're going to try to do. I mean, I called in. I don't even know. You know, I can at least say topical enough. They're going to do this general nationwide strike.
Oh, yes, that's on my list of things. Let's talk about that. Finally, something I can have a conversation about. Yeah, the anti-ICE people are planning a nationwide, not just a strike where they don't go to work. They're not going to buy anything for the day today.
Yeah, boo-hoo. No one cares. But what I think Trump needs to do is like go after. This is what we were promised after Charlie Kirk. They wouldn't just go after the street animals with Antifa. They would go after the funders, the networks, the NGOs, the people behind the signal chats. That's what Surface Kathy Griffin was talking about. These encrypted messaging apps.
Yes.
They're signal chats.
Yeah.
What the people in the Waltz administration are the administrators of these large groups that are divided neighborhood by neighborhood that pretty much swarm everyone on the chat around an ICE agent who's.
And by the way, that would be
So
that sounds
they-
like a criminal conspiracy to me.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't we go after this nationwide strike? Who's funding it?
Yeah.
Go do a RICO charge. And this is I for the life of me, I cannot get over how much I just despise Pam Bondi. I just don't.
You know, I got to tell you, I was
waiting.
watching the president yesterday in the Oval Office in the afternoon. He signed that executive order about the drug addiction and all that. And I saw Pam Bondi back there, and I was just getting pissed off. I'm like, what a useless cabinet member. What the hell has she done? You know, she hasn't arrested
her
any
face.
of these
Yeah.
people. She's done nothing.
No, I know. And the worst thing about her is when she talks in a way that was like, you know, she's in the big leagues now, but her little shtick, she was able to get away with when she was in Florida. Repeat a bunch of platitudes, talk tough, you know, I'm a
And do nothing.
bubblegum chewing, southern blonde, you know, and I take no nonsense from no one. And, you know, I can do what she does, you know, like she goes on there and she's like, let me be clear. We will follow you to the fullest extent of the law if you touch one of our officers. She
Yeah.
doesn't say anything of substance. It's all like a surface level threat.
And her voice is a
So,
little
like,
annoying,
just-
isn't it? A little nails on the chalkboardy, her voice, when she gets all
Well, I hate it
excited.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just hate it now because I don't like, you know, usually you
But
find
you
the
know,
worst
what I
qualities in
wonder.
people when
The
you don't like
the
them.
question with Pam Bondi, you know, the president's not happy with her, but he doesn't want to fire anyone in this election year. Does she know it? Does she know she's done nothing? Or is she in with the Bushes and she's doing nothing on purpose? Or is she like Kamala and drinks wine every afternoon and is like a functioning alcoholic?
Well,
I don't know.
Maybe all the above, but I know she was really connected with Pfizer, and the second she got in, she used to have like one client as when she was practicing law or something. I heard like someone really broke down a good theory as to why she was do nothing, you know, incompetent, and she apparently she was really, as soon as she got into the Trump administration, she did huge favors for Pfizer. Like she dropped an investigation that was happening into Pfizer over like some drug or something that there was like a large, like the DOJ was investigating for whatever reason. So she dropped that. I think another thing too is she's very well aware because Wall Street, he's like $1 million+ account on X. she said, "Oh, we're going to write a strongly worded letter."
Oh,
to Tim
when
Walz,
she said over the weekend on Fox after the shooting, I've sent a strongly worded letter to Tim Walz. That's right out of Team America: World Police. Remember that movie with the it was the UN, and we've sent Kim Jong-un a strongly worded letter. President Trump should have fired her just for saying something so stupid. Well, but I will. I got to run for the. I got to run for the break. But today I slept in. I got up at 2 a.m. and I do hours of show prep. I bring up all this stuff and I go to the phones. A guy wants to talk to me about salting the roads in Rhode Island. And then the other guy,
I know.
After that, Doc was okay. But after Doc, the salt on the road in Rhode Island.
I didn't plan on calling in. I had to throw you a line.
And then the next guy, I want to talk about 1962 and that rocket line. I mean, what the heck?
Back in my day.
Oh, my goodness.
It was brutal.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was terrible.
The way that I plan for the show every day and do my show prep, I plan as if I'm not even going to take a call, and a lot of times people tell me, oh, Brian, come on, you have full boards for the whole time you're on. I know I do, but, I still plan as if I'm not going to take a call. And because when the calls start going south like that, maybe I shouldn't take calls for a while. You know what I mean? So the show must go on. But my goodness,
they sounded lonely, and that they talk too long to the cashier at Publix because when they go home they have no one there, so they just want to talk and talk. I don't know. This is a political show. At least
it's open phones, but you gotta be relevant to what's going on in the news, right? Like you could bring up something from the news that I haven't brought up. Or something. It doesn't mean it's the Lonely Hearts Club.
It's always you give people the second you make it where there's few parameters, some wackos are going to call in and just ruin it for everyone by taking it too far and talking about
people tell me sometimes, why don't you do open phones every day? I mean, if you heard, last Friday was a disaster. I had 10,000 calls last Friday. When I ended the show, every line on the board was lit, right? When the show was over, but it was a disaster with the calls. And today, no, you can't you've got to have some quality control. You give these people one privilege, and look what happens. All right, listen. All right,
exactly.
Thanks for being relevant. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Back after this. Yeah, so this is for those that are just tuning in. When I opened today, let me play this during the break for you all.
Those of you that are awake,
in case you don't know who this is, because she's not really famous anymore. It's Kathy Griffin, okay?
Those of you that are awake, that see what's going on, what do you think the solution is? I think the murder of Renee Good, the murder of Alex Preddy, putting children on planes and taking them to detention centers, which are really concentration camps. Call it what it is. They're concentration camps in the United States of America in 2026. So take that in, and I know you don't want to participate in something radical. I don't either. I wish I could just go on the road.
I know you don't want to take part in anything radical. I don't either. And then she says, but.
And do my funny stories about celebrities or making fun of politicians, but not even have to acknowledge this. But it is happening all around you. It's happening around you. I live in Los Angeles. It's happening at targeted places in Los Angeles. And I think it's time to talk to the neighbors in real life. It's time to talk to your neighbors, find out if they're MAGA or not. Sorry, but we have to know who's on our team. And start to plan. Is there a way we can do something as a community?
Wow.
When I hear from my followers in Minnesota, they describe a very sophisticated channel of a system of things that they do to help one another. And they use encrypted apps. And like I said, everyone has whistles and honks their horn, but they organize in small groups. And they have told me that they learned this from the George Floyd incident, because George Floyd was murdered 20 blocks away from these other murders, roughly. And so they said they learned a lot from that experience. So I'm just telling you guys, live your life, but be conscious of this. And if you're silent, you're complicit. Sorry, I know I'm being a judgy bitch, but that's how I feel.
Wow. If you don't join her encrypted signal chat and do God only knows what, it's as if you're MAGA yourself. Oh my goodness. All right, we'll be back in about, let's see, let me check here. I've lost track. What time are we coming back? Okay, 40 seconds. We'll be back in 40 seconds. Those of you that are Patreon supporters, I did a quick Patreon live stream right before I went on the air. So if you're a Patreon supporter, go and check that out. It was right before I hit go live. All right. 20 seconds, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I have one other celebrity I want to play. I don't know this guy's name, Guillermo or whatever. He's in everything. He's the Chicken Man from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And he's a pretty good actor, but I got tired of him. They put him in everything. He was even in one of the Star Wars shows, right? Wasn't he in the Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars show? He's in too much stuff. But he was very good in Breaking Bad and even better in Better Call Saul, where they expanded the character. And I've watched both of those series multiple times. They're very, very good. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think he was one of the cadets in TAPS. Anybody remember TAPS? Anybody remember TAPS but me? I saw that in the theater. I was a little kid. But I think he was they only had one black cadet, and I think it was him in TAPS. But anyway, this is the Chicken Man from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, and he's talking, of course, about Trump and ICE.
It's just time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know.
Did you hear what he said? He said it's time for revolution. This is on the red carpet. Time for revolution.
This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting. You know, some very rich old white men are exerting their power to suppress our own people, thus creating a feeling of civil war in the streets, preparing the haters to hate.
You know, this guy's, unlike Kathy Griffin, he's still a celebrity and a working actor, the Chicken Man. And he's in everything, constantly. He's a very good actor, but overexposed. And he's defending the rights of the illegals to be in the country. You know, if I went to the set of Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, or anything that he's been in, how many illegal non-union workers are on the set? And I wish one of these reporters would ask them that. You know, it's very nice of them to want the illegals here when they're not taking their jobs.
Teaching them how to shoot. They're not even trained right, to kill. This is all a preparation for a very insidious problem that's happening in our world. And for me, I have to speak out that we will not be iced out.
Oh, we won't be iced out. And you know, this guy, the Chicken Man from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul here, if you're watching on my YouTube channel, you can see he's wearing a scarf that looks like a scarf that one of the Golden Girls wore. I mean, what kind of man wears a scarf like this that he's got on?
This is not going to happen. They can't take us all down. If the whole world showed up on Putin's doorstep or on the Iranians' doorstep or in Washington, it would they'll kill 550 million, however, but the rest of us would survive within.
So he's asking for people to sacrifice their lives, but he's going to survive.
This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting. But we have to be strong enough to know that we can change the world. We have to change it from within. So if I'm spiritually ready and right, and I'm ready to understand other people and to agree to disagree with them and say, okay, let's find the solution together. Then that starts to change things, not by deporting immigrants, not by killing brown and even white people on the street. It's crossing over now.
Oh, even white people. Just unbelievable.
Brown and even white people on the street. It's crossing over now, and believe me, this is gonna really spark the nature of so many people who are gonna show up and say no more. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Oh my goodness. All right, network. All right, Chicken Man. Okay, so I was talking about this yesterday, and when we hear the Chicken Man talk here, it makes me think I was right. I think, is it not possible that these anti-ICE protesters in Minneapolis got both Preddy and Renee Good killed, thinking that if white people got killed, that it would turn public opinion against Trump and ICE? Because listening to him, even white people, it's crossed color lines now, and he's got smile in his voice and actually smile on his face when he says it. All right, our number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. My name is Stan from Bonita Springs. And Brian, last November, December, I called your show and I said, what good is the United Nations? They have no horsepower. They're absolutely worthless. Well, you gave me some kind of dribble about they're good for small countries. It gives them a voice. So
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything like that.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
No,
well,
I didn't say anything like that. What I might have said, the UN, what happens at the UN, these insignificant countries, all right, they feel like there's somebody and feel like they're important when they meet at the UN. I didn't say anything positive about the UN. That's crazy.
Okay. I was just paraphrasing. Okay. Anyway.
No, you weren't. You were hallucinating.
Okay. All right. Well, now President Trump came out and he said the exact same words that I said. What good is the UN?
Wow.
So he must have been listening to your show. Anyway, now that Trump has substantiated what I said to you in November, what is your position?
I've always had the same position. I've never liked the UN and never said anything good about the UN. I said I know what I said because I've said it now. Not only are you hallucinating, you're being condescending. Oh, okay, Brian, whatever you say. I have always said about the UN pretty much the same thing the few times it comes up, is that what I told you a moment ago. The UN makes these insignificant little countries feel like there's somebody important. I've never said anything positive about the UN. It's a poison. They're taking up valuable real estate in Manhattan. Please. No, they're useless.
Great show, Brian. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get your ire up.
You didn't get you think you got my ire up? You think you've angered me? Are you kidding me? You're being condescending again. Oh, he hung up. He hung up. Oh my goodness. My opinion. This is my personal opinion. I think the most negative personality trait somebody can have is being condescending. I think that's just I think it's the worst. The worst. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Joyce from Nashville. How are you?
All right, Joyce. How are you?
I'm great. Actually, catching your show this morning, which is a rare thing for me, I'm so glad because I wanted to mention a couple things I think are really important.
Okay.
Well, first off, I saw your commercial, and I thought, Lindell for governor, come on, people. We got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Lindell for governor. I believe in him.
Yes.
This woman, Kathy Griffin, complete lunatic in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And she's right at the top of what's happening with anti-ICE. They're getting Americans killed with their rhetoric. It's all insane. If they would stop what they're doing and let ICE do their job, Americans wouldn't be dying. They wouldn't be there getting killed. But
yes,
I wanted to mention this. It's all organized crime, and Kathy Griffin is talking about organizing all of this
And the chicken man here, he's talking about a revolution where people sacrifice their lives. You know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even wasn't it Finnegan in Minnesota that was saying, put your body out there? Wasn't it Finnegan?
I don't know. I haven't heard that one. I don't know. Put your body out there? I missed that one.
Yeah, just you need to get out there. You need to stand up. You need to, fight. You need to put your body out. In other words, put your life on the line.
They're all inciting violence, which is a crime, and they're inciting, and they're also what Kathy Griffin and the Chicken Man are talking about is an insurrection.
Yeah,
they're insurrectionists.
I know, and I kind of understand why Trump hasn't went ahead with the Insurrection Act. But
he didn't have to. He got control without it. And I promise you that the feds have infiltrated this anti-ICE movement with undercover agents.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. There's a couple things that common sense tells us. This signal that they were using to dispatch all of these nut jobs.
Yeah.
It's common sense. We knew this from the beginning. You got your NGOs, your Soros, and your taxpayers. Stolen money's paying for all of this.
Yes.
I mean, we're paying for this insanity.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that nobody's really talking about is this. I mean, you don't hear it in the news how what they're doing to the ICE agents is insane. It's psychological warfare.
No doubt.
I mean, yeah, and they're being trained for this. I think there's a program in Virginia, and I'm sure a lot of other places around the states are preparing to continue this for who knows how long, at least until they get Trump out.
Yep. Very true.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I got to run. I'm late for the break. I got to run, but I appreciate the call, and you make a lot of sense. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, back after this. Oh, man. We'll be right back.
Valentine's Day's coming up. Skip the flowers that fade and give the gift that lasts every single night. MyPillow has incredible Valentine's deals on pillows, sheets, towels, and more. Perfect for the one you love or yourself. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout for huge savings, or call 1-800-716-4879. Better sleep, better mornings, a better Valentine's Day. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code KANE. Planning a ski trip with your kids? Buying ski clothes they'll outgrow after one season can be expensive and stressful. That's why families are choosing Skits Ski Wear Rentals. Kids ski gear shipped to your door. Skits offers complete ski clothing kits designed just for kids ages 3 to 14. You rent instead of buy, and everything arrives at your home before your trip. Clean, warm, and ready to wear. Choose the Skits Boys Kit or Skits Girls Kit, including a waterproof jacket, insulated snow pants, bib, gloves, goggles, and cold weather accessories, all with free shipping. After the trip, just send it back. There's no storage, no shopping, and no wasted money. Make your family ski trip easier this year. Rent before you go. Visit skits.co. That's SKITZ. Skits Ski Wear Rentals. Kids ski gear shipped to your door. Skip the stress and gear up for less. Skits.co.
All right, we'll be back in about a minute. Guys, do your Valentine's Day shopping today. Go to MyPillow.com, and of course, with our promo code KANE at checkout, just huge savings. And you can use our promo code KANE on all the specials at MyPillow.com. Promo code KANE, KANE. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. 2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are located. All right, we got about 15 seconds. Stand by. All right, we're back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott. I'm calling from Kansas City.
Oh, hey, Scott from Kansas City. Oh, what is
Hello?
on? Yep, what's on your mind, Scott from Kansas City?
Well, Kathy Griffin.
Yes.
The only thing I have in common with Kathy Griffin is we're the same age and we're still working. But
well, I wouldn't be so sure she's working.
Well, let's hope.
You think she could fill up a theater with people to hear comedy? I don't think so.
Yeah, and my exposure to her is limited to her little appearance in Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction?
I saw for about a half hour.
She's not in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, she was in Pulp Fiction for just a moment.
No way. Where is she in Pulp Fiction? I've seen that movie so many times. I've never heard that before. Where is she in Pulp Fiction?
Remember that? Yeah, I can tell you the scene. Remember when Bruce runs into the black guy who's the...
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. Now I remember. I forgot. You are correct. When he goes in with Zed and, and the Gimp.
Yeah, well, she runs up and says...
That's right.
To the black man, I saw this.
The car accident. Right after the car accident, when Bruce Willis runs over Marcellus Wallace. You are correct.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. I forgot about that. Kathy Griffin is in Pulp Fiction. That is correct.
And the only other time I ever saw her was I was at somebody's house for about a half hour, and she was a little petite woman on a big, huge stage in front of an audience, and all she did was, like a high school rant on current VP candidate Sarah Palin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
And
yes.
But what a couple of guys told me, and she came up in conversation, just one subject in many, is that, and you just take this with a grain of salt and make what you want of it. She does not have intimate relations with straight men. She has with men, but they're not straight.
Well, how does she have intimate relationships with? She has intimate relationships with gay men.
Basically, they said, and there's two terms, a fruit fly, and there's a hag. There's another word.
Now,
don't
come on.
Yeah, I know. You do that, but yeah.
Don't stoop to their level.
Yeah, but I think if that's true, that's sad.
No, you misunderstood. No. Kathy Griffin has catered her act over the years. Even before she became a Never Trumper, she had a large gay following. I don't know why, but she's always catered her act to a gay following. So
So well, just take it as it. I thought I'd share that, and
okay.
Apparently, these guys said, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
She has never had a family. She
was married. No, she was married. She's divorced.
She was?
Yeah, before she went on Never Trumper, she had a reality show. It was called The D-List or something, right? About, low-level celebrities. And her husband was a hairdresser. And she divorced him. Apparently, I guess he was taking money from her without her knowledge, and she divorced him over it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
She was being embezzled by her bedmate.
By her husband. I mean, I don't know how you get embezzled by your spouse. I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't know that either. I mean,
that doesn't sound like a real marriage to me, but that seems odd. But whatever.
I've heard of a wife stealing from the husband in little bits and pieces because she had a gambling addiction, but
that's hiding. When Jeb Bush's wife spent $20,000 on shoes in Paris, and she tried to smuggle them back into the country. Remember that? And she got caught. She wasn't trying to smuggle in without paying taxes. She just didn't want Jeb to know she spent $20,000 on shoes in Paris.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I think he was governor when that happened, too. All right. Appreciate the call, Kansas City. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hello. My name's Lorenzo, and I'm calling from Granville, Ohio.
All right. What's up, Ohio?
Cool. Yeah, it's freezing here. You guys escape all the winter weather. It's crazy. But don't worry, I'm not talking about that. So there are a couple things I wanted to talk about. First of all, a couple comments on ICE.
Yes.
I'm probably the first person who's called who actually disagrees with you on this topic.
No.
You know, I'm
every
part
day.
of the,
No, you're the second person in this hour who's called to disagree with me on ice, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I joined. Yeah, okay. No, I joined like less than an hour ago.
That's
so.
okay.
All right. So, but I'm the first one in a minute, and so you were talking with the last lady about how there are these signal chats, number one, and number two, elected officials have used very inflammatory language. Both elected officials and other important figures have used very inflammatory language that, in your opinion, could amount to incitement or an insurrection even.
Yeah, that's right. Tim Walz, Mayor Fry. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can get into specific language if you want, but if you believe that that's incitement, then how is it not incitement what Trump did on January 6th, where he told his supporters to put a stop to make Congress stop the count of the votes, number one.
They never said that. Slow down. He never said that.
Told them.
He never said that.
I believe he articulated to them that
he never said that. Never said that. Okay, what's the next part? Get to the next part.
He told them. Huh? What?
Get to the next part. He told them
they had to. He told them, you guys need to fight like hell, or you're not going to have a country anymore.
No, he said.
How is that
first
any
of all,
less inflammatory than the things
he said peacefully, let your voices be heard. Fight like hell. Fight like hell is an old phrase, right? Like you're going to fight like hell to sell cars if you're a car salesman. It doesn't mean physical.
That's true. I agree, but I also don't think that the language that these I don't think the language that these elected officials used in regards to ICE was any more inflammatory.
Mayor Fry of Minneapolis, who is a strong mayor who has authority over his police department,
correct,
gave an order to not have police give backup to ICE officers. And the Renee Good incident, things were heated up. The ICE officers went on the radio, requested backup from the Minneapolis police, and a supervisor ordered officers to stand down and not give them support. They are federal officers who were following the orders of the Secretary of Homeland Security, who was following orders from the President of the United States. And not only is Renee Good dead because of Mayor Fry's illegal orders, he is, excuse me, I'm choking.
Yeah.
He is interfering with government business, which is the deportations. That's an insurrection.
I fail to see, sir, how not sending extra backup and not sending your state police force to help ICE
manslaughter.
is in any way obstructing
it's manslaughter.
ICE's actions.
If there's an officer, excuse me,
ridiculous.
slow down.
Go ahead.
If anyone, no matter who they are, if anyone, it might be felony murder, anyone, whether they're a federal agent, a police officer, or a citizen of the United States, and they call the local police because their life is in danger, the police are obligated to respond. They did not because they don't like what they're doing, and someone got killed because of it.
Okay, well, I think the difference here is that they weren't calling the police as a civilian; they were calling. The
it doesn't matter. That's in many ways that's worse. If Mayor Fry did not give that order, Renee Good would be alive today. And by the way, so would this guy that got shot last week, Preddy. He'd be alive today if it wasn't for Mayor Fry.
Okay, I do see your point specifically about the Renee Good incident, but I do not believe that the state police has any obligation.
We're talking about the city police in Minneapolis were ordered to stand down by Fry. Fry ordered the city police force of Minneapolis to stand down.
Yes. Correct. I meant city police. I don't think the city police has any obligation.
This is not. Listen. This isn't the purge. They are obliged to answer calls from civilian or other law enforcement when people are in danger.
I agree. I can agree with that. I can agree with the fact that in the Renee Good incident, they should have gone there. and that
Renee
and that
Good's
there's
dead
any
because of
purpose there.
Mayor Fry. Preddy is dead because of Mayor Fry.
Again, I could agree that they should have gone in
And they'd
the,
both be alive if they would have gone. You know, in the Preddy case, the local police weren't doing their job of maintaining peace and law and order on the streets of Minneapolis. Listen, I got to run for our top of the hour break. Welcome to the program, and call me again sometime, all right? It's one call per show.
All right.
All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. My name's Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Listen, the next governor of Minnesota, Mike Lindell, great deals going on, the mega sale going on with our promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com. Do your Valentine's Day shopping. Go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, for huge savings on the most popular MyPillow products. You can also order by phone 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. All right, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Callers on hold, you stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. Back after this break. On the line, we have Lewis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years, and he called Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax, and Jamie took good care of him. Lewis, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. So tell me how Jamie from Swift Tax helped you on your taxes.
I was having trouble with another company. I called Jamie, and the next day I brought my wife in there with all the paperwork, and he straightened all my back taxes out, and I'm actually getting money back now.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. So this other company you went to told you owed the government money, and Jamie over at Swift Tax took a look and found out that not only did you not owe money, you're getting money back from the government?
Yes, I got nice big checks coming soon.
Do what Lewis did. Call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse? Weather, traffic, whatever. Tom Laporta, what a class act. The workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. Now listen to this, because I'm going to play this on the radio and get back, but I'm going to play it for you now. This is Fry talking to the mayor's conference.
You know, I didn't take this job to get into the business of defending democracy. I did it.
What? He doesn't defend democracy? Doesn't he have to swear into an oath to defend law and order?
You know, I didn't take this job to get into the business of defending democracy. I did it because being a mayor has always been my dream job. There's great honor in filling potholes. It is noble to keep people safe and to build affordable housing. That work which we do every single day is foundational to the principles of our republic, and all the same, we find ourselves in a different position right now. We are on the front lines of a very important battle, and it's important that we aren't silenced, that we aren't put down. This is not a time to bend our heads in despair or out of fear that we may be next, because if we do not speak up, if we do not step out, it will be your city that is next.
Wow. What a sicko.
For those of you that have been watching the news and what's happened in Minneapolis, I tell you, it is that bad.
Yeah, because of you.
People's constitutional rights have been trampled. thousands of federal agents have descended on a city that has 600 police officers. 600 police officers and somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 federal agents, ICE, and Border Patrol.
Yeah, that's right. And they're needed. Yeah. We're going to be back in a little more than 30 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go back to the phones as the second hour begins. It is open phones on Friday. Open Maga Mike Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. The toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. The cold weather is affecting my throat today. It's really, by Florida standards, pretty cold. I could never live up north again. 15 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll go back to the phones. It is Open Maga Mike Friday. On Friday's show, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't have to even comment on the topics we bring up. And, you know, to new listeners, you don't have to agree to call, as you can hear by many of the callers. All right, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I'll go back to the phones. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Johnny, man. I've been texting all morning. I got a question. Why is it that Trump doesn't have the power to actually remove sitting, the sitting judges? It's like
because contrary, because there's a process. Contrary to what the liberals fantasize about, President Trump is not a dictator. The president doesn't have that authority. There's an impeachment process.
Doesn't he get that one black book? You know what I mean? That you slide 4 names into it and shit gets done.
All right. First time of the day, Mike. We got to hit the dump button there. Tried to squeeze it in there with his inarticulate self. If you're on hold, stand by while we wait for the delay to re-engage. There's an impeachment process in the Congress that everybody knows, which I'm not going to go through. I wanted to share this because the last guy about Mayor Fry, this guy's a jerk. He was speaking at the United States Conference of Mayors. Listen to what this joker had to say.
You know, I didn't take this job to get into the business of defending democracy.
What? You know, when you hold elected office and you take an oath, you take an oath to uphold the laws, and part of that law is to maintain democracy.
I did it because being a mayor has always been my dream job. There's great honor in filling potholes. It is noble to keep people safe and to build affordable housing.
Well, he's not keeping people safe. 2 people have been killed in his city because of him. Preddy and Renee Good are dead because of Mayor Fry's orders to the local police. No doubt about it.
That work which we do every single day is foundational to the principles of our republic, and all the same, we find ourselves in a different position right now. We are on the front lines of a very important battle, and it's important that we aren't silenced, that we aren't put down. This is not a time to bend our heads in despair or out of fear that we may be next, because if we do not speak up, if we do not step out, it will be your city that is next.
Yeah, your city may also have the rapists and murderers removed from it. God forbid. What a terrible person Fry is. And he's got this look on his face when he's giving this speech. He is in love with himself. This guy thinks he's so cool and so good looking, so hot. He's in love with himself, this guy. You can see it in his face. He can hardly stop. He's got a smirk on his face because he's so in love with himself.
For those of you that have been watching the news and what's happened in Minneapolis, I'll tell you, it is that bad. People's constitutional rights have been trampled.
Whose constitutional rights have been trampled, Fry?
Thousands of federal agents have descended on a city that has 600 police officers.
That's right.
600 police officers and somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 federal agents, ICE, and Border Patrol.
Yeah, that's right, because you're not doing your job. What a twisted man he is. I'm telling you, this guy thinks he's running for president or vice president. He really does. He's that in love with himself. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Pompano.
Hey, Richard.
Okay. I'm not as articulate as you, and I had trouble getting my thoughts across. I'm concerned about two things. One, about the midterms. If we don't get the majority of Republicans, they're going to just impeach him again.
Correct.
They hate him. Okay, so this is my theory. I've been watching the news. He's going to go out on tour again, Trump, and have those rallies.
Mm-hmm.
He's concerned, just like I am. But here's something: this raid, and hear me out, at Fulton County to find some wrongdoing. If they do find out that Trump was cheated, it was rigged, then he can actually ask, and I'm looking at your hat right now, he doesn't beg it. He can say, look, I deserve to run in 2028. There's your proof. I was cheated. I should get a second chance. I want a third term. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what... 6 years later, how much evidence is still going to be lying around? I don't know. You know?
Yeah, that worries me too.
You know, it's been 6 years. I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't even really know what they were looking for. I know some stories have said we really do. They have an idea of what they're doing, but I don't think we really know. No, that it's still, you know, the way it works, and I'm not. This is the way it works, right? We the people don't really elect we the people don't really elect our presidents. It's done by the Electoral College. And then the Congress certifies it. So the way it works is when the Congress certifies it, right or wrong, that's who legally won. But he would have had his second term anyway. We would have to change the law to allow him to have a third term. But what President Trump wants to, what President Trump is going to do and is attempting to do, and I hope he's successful, is to correct the historical record of what happened. That's what he's trying to do.
Okay, but an amendment is not the same as changing the law. Is that what you're saying?
An amendment's a law. It's a little more heavy duty than a regular law, but you know, another thing they're doing is warning people not to do any monkey business in the midterms too. There's a lot of things in play here.
Okay.
I mean, with that story, I'm waiting for them to come out with something before I know a lot of people want to get everybody all riled up about it, but until they come up with, when they come up with something, I'll talk about it more. But until then, I just don't see much to say until they find something. I just, you know, you go to a crime scene 6 years later, right? I mean, how much evidence can be around still?
Yeah, they'll just deny everything, the Democrats.
Well, they may have destroyed they may have destroyed records. Maybe they didn't, though. You know, they are government workers, which is incompetence, or maybe or a lot of arrogance, and maybe didn't feel a need to. Maybe they didn't, and there's a lot of evidence around. We'll find out, and that'll be exciting.
Oh yeah. Okay. One other thing, you said that Canada caved in. Last night on the news, they showed the British Prime Minister in Beijing. I thought...
the British Prime Minister or the Canadian Prime Minister?
Canadian, I think it was.
The big China deal they were talking about, they canceled. I don't know. He probably got over there for something, and he's always trying to act like he's the big man on campus. But no, he's that big China deal's off.
Okay. Good. That's good news.
All right. Appreciate the call. All right. Take care. All right. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford, Florida. How are you today?
All right. What's up?
Well, first of all, I agree with you 100% about Fry being responsible for both deaths. Number one, they could have moved Good's vehicle. They could have arrested her before ICE even got there with their vehicles. As to Pratt, they could have arrested him for breaking the tail light, putting him in jail. And one other thing, had these sanctuary cities turn over the bad guys, one officer's involved, they send them back home. When they go looking for them, there's multiple officers going to homes or apartments, And you know Tom Homan. If they'll arrest a bad guy, but if anybody else is illegal, they get sent home too. So in effect, when they don't turn them over, more illegals are being sent home.
Well, Tom Homan said that
Why
they
don't
made
they
a deal with them
understand
they made a deal where they're going to turn the illegals over to them from the jail instead of release them to the streets again.
Well, yeah, and that's the best way to do it.
See, Fry is cooperating. I know he's acting all big guy, all butch and everything else, but behind the scenes, Walls and him are cooperating. Unless Tom Homan's been snowed, that's what Tom Homan was. Tom Homan said they're going to release the illegal criminals to ICE directly now.
Well, Tom Homan's got 100% of my support, and I back him. He's not one to screw around with the truth.
That's right.
If he says something, you can take it to the bank.
All right. Appreciate the call. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian. Back after this.
What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon. Do you believe the craftsmanship still matters? Then visit DivineEscapes.com. Based in Pennsylvania, DivineEscapes.com specializes in natural stone hardscaping built the way it's been done for centuries, using dry stone masonry techniques that rely on physics, balance, and experience, not shortcuts. Every project at DivineEscapes.com begins with the land itself. Each stone is hand-selected, shaped, and set with intention, combining traditional standards with original artistic design. The result is stonework that doesn't just decorate your landscape, it belongs there. DivineEscapes.com uses locally sourced stone whenever possible, reducing environmental impact while creating features that feel natural, timeless, and enduring. From flowing stone patios and mosaics to sculptural walls, boulder benches, and one-of-a-kind stone art, every piece is crafted with precision and expertise. If you're looking for something authentic, built to last, and unlike anything else, you'll find it at DivineEscapes.com. You'll also find great gifts too. Go right now to DivineEscapes.com. View the inventory and see what natural stone can become. DivineEscapes.com.
All right, we're still in radio break for about a minute. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones when the radio station break is over. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, and it's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back in less than a minute. Okay, about 15 seconds, and we will be back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It is Open Maga Mike Friday, open phones on Friday's show. The show prep is up to you and the listening audience. We had a rough start, but things have gotten on track since. And you can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. The number 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Jason from Spokane.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I managed to dodge that winter storm. I hope you're doing all right.
No, tomorrow we're going to have the coldest day in Florida in 15 years. There's snow warnings in Orlando, where Walt Disney World is.
Wow.
Very cold.
You asked what's on my mind. So stop me if someone else has already brought this up or you have during the show. I've only been tuned in for about 10 minutes. So stop me if you've already talked about it. But I have a case I'd like to make. And
okay.
Because we've known for a few months now that, at least for a few months, that when ICE is operating in a city, there are what would you call it, blips in communication between ICE and local law enforcement, and they don't always cooperate well together, especially in the blue states.
Mm-hmm.
But it really has happened everywhere, not just in the blue states, that there are blips in communication, they don't operate well together, and wires are crossed all the time between feds and state.
Mm-hmm.
So the second that Trump got a whiff that Minnesota was getting out of control, he should have invoked the Insurrection Act. He should have gone complete, utter control over the state, especially Minneapolis as the hub of it, but he should have gone complete federal control over Minneapolis. And the fact that he didn't is going to lead to him losing the midterms. Okay. I'm convinced of that.
Okay, you can tell yourself that. You know,
one more thing. I think the left is winning the momentum and optics war right now.
I went over the poll a couple days ago on the program. I went over the latest polls from the New York Times, ABC, and CBS. Very liberal, anti-Trump. I went over all of them about 2 days ago on the program. On this very issue of deportations, over 50% support in all the polls nationwide for what Trump is doing. You have this one pocket in Minneapolis. Okay, there are deportations going on in all 50 states, and we have this one pocket of resistance. And public opinion is on President Trump's side, according to the liberal pollsters.
Well, I don't even know if polls can calculate this at the moment.
Yeah, they can. Now. New York Times, CBS News, and ABC News.
2 weeks, Brian, I want to let you know, in the last 2 weeks, all of the different general strikes that the left has had in Minnesota have been increasing in population, not decreasing. They are gaining momentum.
Yeah, you've got one out of all 50 states. There are deportations going on in every state. Okay, and we have one pocket where there's a problem in a mid-sized city, Minneapolis, and that's it. And the rest of the country, we haven't. If we would have seen nationwide break, we don't even see nationwide protest at all. If we did have nationwide protest and a nationwide resistance, you might be right, but
the No Kings protest. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. The No Kings protest was the largest protest in U.S. history.
Says
and it
who?
Was nationwide.
Says who?
The numbers are pretty clear.
You know, I went to the No Kings protest in Fort Lauderdale. It was on Fort Lauderdale Beach. I went undercover. I made a YouTube video about it. I went undercover and posted the video to my X, Brian Craig Show on X. You guys can go to my X and see it. It basically was a couple hours of gay activists and senior citizens coming out and hanging out with pre-made signs, and then they left. It meant nothing.
Okay. Well, we've been at an impasse about this the last few times that I've called, and
what you're doing is wishful thinking. You're doing wishful thinking. I'm looking at the real data.
Well, what am I being wishful about? What am I wishing for?
That Trump's that the Republicans will lose the midterms.
No, Brian. I swear to you, I want Trump to win. I wanted him to take over Minneapolis as soon as there was a whiff of an insurrection, which it was.
He did
This
take
is
it
what's
over.
going
He
on
sent
in
Tom. He
Minneapolis.
sent
It's an
Tom Homan.
insurrection.
He sent Tom Homan, and he has taken over Minneapolis. He just did it in a
Yes,
softer
but there have
way.
been several capitulations. There have been several statewide
No, there
capitulations
haven't.
for the
Nope.
protesters.
Nope.
Yes,
There have not been any.
Yes.
None.
Arrests have slowed down. A lot of people have been released. There's a lot of catch and release going on. They're not being detained.
No, there has not been any capitulation, and they're quadrupling down. Now,
right,
there's a brutal winter storm going on right now, so things might have slowed a little bit because of the weather, the sub-zero temperatures. But no, Tom Homan gave a press conference yesterday. They've not reduced anything. In fact, what they're doing is regrouping. Tom Homan, he said there's some rotations going on. He said in the press conference yesterday that means they're regrouping to prepare for the Homan-led operation. That's all, just regrouping.
Well, if I'm wishful about anything, I'm wishful that things get better. I'm not wishful.
Well,
that
then
Trump
vote.
loses.
Then
I
vote
can promise you
Republican.
that, Brian.
All right, I appreciate the call. Does that guy sound like a MAGA guy to you? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, no, hang in there. Hold on. My phones are ringing off the hook. Let's go. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Charlie from Palm City, Florida.
All right, Palm City. What's on your mind?
Well, what I think about this whole thing is that it's like the mouse that roared. That's a Marx Brothers movie, like in the 30s, where they uprose to get rebuilt by America. And that's sort of like what's going on up there in Minnesota. These people are absolutely crazy. And to argue about it is stupid. You know, I mean, ICE is trying to do the job. Only Minnesota, Minneapolis is in uproar. Stupid. Absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
That's
And so far as the public, you know, that Somali pirate scam they got going on up there, it ticked the country off.
It's crazy. It's actually, I'm a veteran, military veteran, and it's absolutely sickening that people cannot follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
We have rules. They're called laws. And keep your hands off of the cops. You deserve to, you know, to
Everybody knows if you fight with the cops, you're going to get shot.
You're crazy.
Everybody knows that. You know, when they, you know, this is the thing. This is the thing people don't understand. Okay, you know, if somebody kills a cop, there's an all points bulletin, and the reason that is because somebody who does not have the fear of killing a cop is more dangerous than someone who would kill a civilian. Someone who would get into a street fight with cops is more dangerous than somebody that would get into a street fight with another civilian. Everybody knows you don't fight cops, or you're going to get good chance you're going to get shot. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've always done, and I thank a cop when I see him.
Yeah.
We need police. Oh, my God. And I'd like the liberals to think about this. Would you allow a bunch of people to move into your house? Because, hey, they're human too. You know?
Good point.
Open up the doors.
Good point. All right, Palm City, take care. You know, tomorrow, as I said, we're going to have the coldest day we've had in 15 years in South Florida. The wind chill in Boca is going to be in the 20s. The wind chill, the actual temperature will be in the low 30s. Wind chill in the 20s. I don't even have clothes for that. I don't have those kind of winter clothes. I don't go to cold climates. You know, we take our cruises. We're in the Caribbean, man. I got cabana shirts, Hawaiian shirts, and that's it. A lot of shorts and things. I don't have, you know, I have jackets. I'm wearing a hoodie right now, but this is not a hoodie meant for weather in the 20s. But when we had these cold days, before I met Dr. Appleton, that's when I was in a lot of pain. I don't know what it is about arthritis and aches and pains, but cold days, that's when the aches and pains were the worst. Some people ask me sometimes, you know, why all these times, 7 times Dr. Appleton rid me of pain and the pains haven't returned. People ask me, how is that? Why is that? No drugs, no medication, no surgery, totally painless, no drugs, no injections, no downtime. How does it not return? And the reason the pain does not return is because Dr. Appleton's robotic laser, it actually repairs the damage in your body that is causing the pain. That's right. And that's why the pain has not returned, because Dr. Appleton repaired me. Yeah, and he's done it 7 times. And each of the times, not only did he rid me of pain, the pain has not returned, including the very first time for my knee injury that I was suffering from for about 30 years from a car accident I was in. None of the pains have returned. Give Dr. Appleton a call. Stop living in pain. You don't have to. You know, with Dr. Appleton, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Here's his number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back.
Valentine's Day's coming up. Skip the flowers that fade and give the gift that lasts every single night. MyPillow has incredible Valentine's deals on pillows, sheets, towels, and more. Perfect for the one you love or yourself. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout for huge savings, or call 1-800-716-4879. Better sleep, better mornings, a better Valentine's Day. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code KANE.
All right, we're still in radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones after the break. Watch this. These people are really out of their minds.
If we
This is the district attorney of Philadelphia.
have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice.
Okay, so the liberals have this fantasy that they're all going to be a bunch of Wiesenthal's and travel the world like Nazi hunters and arrest all these ICE agents and put them on trial. They're out of their mind.
Yeah, this is highly inappropriate. No prosecutor in America should be doing that, let alone yelling at and about law enforcement officers.
That's right.
Look, this debate, there's a lot of words and a lot of talking around it. We have existing federal immigration law. We have law enforcement agencies, duly sworn officers that have been ordered by the president to go out and enforce those laws. That's really all the debate is about here. And in most jurisdictions, these laws are being enforced quite amicably. There are no incidents. Transfers are happening. People are being deported.
Exactly, except in Minneapolis.
That have a reason to be deported. It's just in this specific jurisdiction, people have decided that federal immigration law shouldn't apply, and now you have sort of radical Democrats around the country ramping this up even further by claiming that they're going to hunt down federal law enforcement officers.
Insane.
As though they were Nazis. You have Eric Swalwell in California promising a reign of terror if he becomes governor against anybody who's ever worked for ICE.
I mean,
This kind of division and this kind of threat against people who basically signed up to enforce the law and do public service, it's outrageous. And any Democrat ought to be able to sit here and say, this is way over the line.
But they can't because they're sick. They're a bunch of sickos is what they are. All right, hold on. Let me check the time. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, we got just over a minute. We'll be back. I will take the calls when we get back from the break, which is just over a minute. So stand by. All right. Yep, 1 minute from now, we will be back. Oh, yeah, it's warm today here in Florida, by the way. I'll just tell you the weather. Tomorrow it's going to be cold. It's warm by your standards. It's 59 degrees right now, but the high is only 68. That's not good. That's cold by our standards. Okay, 30 seconds. 20 seconds. My wife has me growing my hair out long. I'm getting that awkward phase. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It is Open Phones, Open Maga Mike Friday. On Friday's show, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. The number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brother Brian. IB.
Hey, IB. What's up?
I saw that Kathy Griffin tape yesterday. It was just. Was it you that say they just think like a child early in the conversation?
Yes, I did say that.
Because what she says should not even come out of an adult's mouth.
Yeah.
If someone comes and knocks on my door and say, "Hey, are you MAGA?" I'll go, "Yeah," and what is going to be the next move? Do they pull out a gun and shoot you? What is wrong with these people? You see, they are at Custard last stand right now, okay? Everything else isn't working. Obviously, violence is the only way to go. That's all they have. This is why they're talking about revolution, okay? They want to force the people that are not yet engaged. This is what
she's talking about doing is she wants to identify people so they can be publicly shamed and tarred and feathered. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, I understand that, but she's also calling on people to mobilize. She said, "Come together as a community." And
she's talking about a revolution, which is an insurrection, is what she's talking about.
This is what the Democrats do every time they're in a position. When it comes to the Super Bowl, they use that stage for their cause. When it comes to the election, like Joe Biden, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Remember when he talked to that rapper in the beginning, whatever her name was. And he was with Connie B or whatever her name was.
B, yeah.
Remember that? So they always now they are their last stand. They need whoever they can get to go out there in the streets because they're going down. Now, if someone else, the next person that calls in about January 6th, they're going to get kicked in the teeth so hard because Tulsi Gabbard is right now heading the biggest fraud ever, the stealing of the election, and cases were filed in 2022. So those files are sitting in a room that the FBI now is trying to get to. So
we'll see. I hope so. But do you notice? You notice again, President Trump has bypassed Pam Bondi. Why is Tulsi Gabbard there? Because Trump doesn't trust Pam Bondi. She's useless unless your name is Bush. All right, appreciate the call, IB. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Howdy, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name's John Brown. I'm from Kansas.
Okay. Really? John Brown? Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable using my real name. So you're a MAGA supporter, right?
Oh, okay. So your name's not John Brown. Okay.
It's for privacy reasons, but
okay.
So you're a MAGA supporter.
Obviously, I'm wearing a hoodie that says Trump, and I'm wearing a hat that says Trump 2028. So yes.
Of course. I know you're a fan of ICE and all that. Tell me why these ICE agents have patches and tattoos and insignia from Adamov and the Order of Nine Angles and Patriot Front.
They don't. You know, these.
I've seen. I can pull up the videos for you.
Whatever. You could have pulled videos for me over the telephone. Yeah, I'd like to see how that goes. These ICE agents. Excuse me, John Brown. If you watch these ICE agents in Minneapolis, most of them, when you hear them speak, you can tell they are Hispanic. They're Latinos. And there's reasons for that. Mainly, to be a Border Patrol agent, you have to be able to speak Spanish. So that's one of the reasons. So you're telling me that these white supremacist groups, that they take non-white people now? Does that even make sense? John Brown?
Enrique Tarrio, he's Afro-Cuban. He's a member of ICE now.
Okay. So that you just proved my point.
The Proud Boys.
The Proud Boys are not a white supremacist organization.
I'm not saying they're white supremacists. I'm saying they're in league with the Patriot Front.
I don't know what they are. Why do you go by John Brown? Why'd you pick that name?
Because John Brown did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
now, let me ask you one more thing. The Epstein files. Donald Trump is a pedophile.
All right, there you go. All right, there we go. So says John Brown. You're on the. That's the. By the way, you guys remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Regis Philbin? Not later with Meredith Vieira from The View. remember the lifelines? You know, you could, what were they? You could phone a friend. They would narrow it down to 2. What were the 3 lifelines? Liberal callers, they have 3 lifelines when I'm talking to them and they don't know where to go and don't know what to say. And here's the lifelines that they have. It's just like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But in this case, it's Who Wants to Be a Liberal Idiot, I guess. Profanity is one lifeline where I have to end the call. Or they bring up, the second lifeline is bring up January 6th. And the third lifeline is anything that involves saying the name Epstein. Those are their 3 lifelines. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm talking to them, and they don't know where to go.
You're on the air.
John Mesco from Jupiter by way of New Jersey.
John in Jupiter. Oh, my goodness. What's up, John in Jupiter?
Well, I just wanted to commend you on giving that guy that called the rebuttal on saying that Trump caused an insurrection on January 6th. That was fabulous.
Well, thank you.
So I want to say, if good men do nothing, evil will prevail, so keep doing good. One other thing I want to mention, I had an argument with someone the other day, discussion, and she said, oh, well, we broke the Nuremberg Treaty, you know, where we invaded Venezuela. I said, what are you, out of your head? You know, I mean, we had every right to do that. She said, well, there was no danger to the U.S.
Yeah, tell that to Lincoln Riley, who was murdered by a Venezuelan illegal.
Exactly. And also, well, what about all the drug trafficking? I told her, I said, look, we lost hundreds of thousands of people from drugs. And that was Maduro initiated much of that.
You know, listen, Venezuela,
activity.
Venezuela has been attacking and literally invading and attacking this country and killing more people than died on 9/11 pretty much every month due to drug overdoses. There's never been a clear and present danger like Venezuela. They were invading us by the land and killing our people, and they're killing our people through the drugs.
Did you hear that last month there were no deaths due to a fentanyl overdose in Washington, the first time in many, many, many years?
Wow. That's amazing. You know, fentanyl deaths are down dramatically. And nationwide, what's going on is a major cold turkey drug rehabilitation, because President Trump not only has shut off the fentanyl, he shut down the chemicals that are used to even make it here. And people that are buying fentanyl, if they're probably not even getting fentanyl, and if they are, it's very diluted, and the price of fentanyl has gone through the roof to where it's unaffordable for more. So people are they're being weaned off or going cold turkey off of it, and have been for months. It's amazing what Trump is doing.
So don't these idiots know that that Trump has saved hundreds of thousands of lives and will continue to do that because of drug addiction, drug overdoses? They just don't get it. They're being gaslit. So the guy that said that Trump caused an insurrection on January 6th, back to that, he is totally, I guess he listens to network news all day. I don't know. He doesn't get the truth.
MS Now. You know, the thing about January 6th, President Trump said peacefully let your voice be heard. And they seem to forget that. But you know, what Trump is doing with the drugs is something that no one thought could be done. They always said, you know, oh, well, when Americans stop doing the drugs, then they'll stop coming. There hasn't been a single illegal who's crossed the border in 8 months. Drug importation is down 97 to 98% in the last couple of months into the country. He's doing what they said could not be done. It's amazing.
Do these leftists want to go back to what it was for 4 years? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Here's the thing. You know, it's like that guy I played from Breaking Bad, the Chicken Man. They don't care that people are murdered or OD as long as the Democrats win the election. So that's all. Their sacrifices of ODing or being raped and murdered by illegals is, it's for a just cause. Democrats winning elections. Remember, Rush Limbaugh always said, all Democrats care about is being in power. That's how they steal the money. So no, they want to go back to it. They want to go back to the old. Could you imagine if every president we've had was as competent as Trump? Yeah, I was so proud of him yesterday when he signed that executive order about drug addiction yesterday. We've never had a president actually do anything about the drug problem. They talk about it, but they never did anything.
One of a kind, the man. A one of a kind. I don't know if we'll ever see anybody like him again.
All right, I got to run for our break, but I appreciate the
Thank
call.
you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. It makes me feel so good to hear from people in this audience who have been calling me and telling me how Life Imaging FLA has saved their lives. Last Friday, at the very end of the show, a listener called in and told me that he went over to Life Imaging FLA for the heart scan, and he had the cancer screening. They found he had a tumor. He had no idea, but he had a tumor. He found out because he took my advice and asked about the cancer screening at Life Imaging FLA. I've heard from multiple listeners who have gone over to Life Imaging FLA for the heart screening. They've called me on the air, you've heard the calls, and found out that they've had heart issues, sometimes blockage and other conditions. They had no idea, no symptoms, and now they're getting treated. One nice lady found out, she went over there with her husband, they both had the heart scan. Both of them have heart issues, no symptoms, hers worse than his. Now they're all being treated. Life Imaging FLA have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you'll be connected in seconds. Back after this. All right, hang in there, guys. All right, we'll be back shortly, guys. About a minute, we'll be back. TGIF, guys, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, yes. No, Actually, receding, not at all. Are you kidding me? None. All my hair. No receding. Just a part. No receding. Are you kidding? We're back. Oh, my goodness. My name's Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. I got a couple things I want to get into before I go back to the calls because I'll forget about these things and they're important. This morning, I saw this video online, and I'm just going to tell you about it. I'm not going to play it for you. It's on my ex, at Brian Craig Show. I'm not doing that because I'm not trying to promote my ex, Brian Craig Show. But I just don't want to play the whole video. I'm just going to tell you about it. And this, it's an amazing video, and it goes to the great work that Kristi Noem is doing. And, you know, Kristi Noem, you know, the first call I took today on the program, right after we came on the air at 6, was from a liberal, Doc from Texas. Kristi Noem's going to get fired. And I was explaining, why would Trump fire Kristi Noem? First of all, the fact that every liberal in the country is saying he should fire her tells us that she's doing a great job, right? And look what she's done. She's in charge of the largest deportation operation in history. She shut down the southern border where not one illegal has crossed in 8, maybe 9 months by now. And everything she's done is amazing. She's coordinating with Pete Hegseth at the War Department on the drug, stopping the drug importations. We were talking about that. She's doing a great job. Why would he get rid of her? And I saw this video this morning. It was a girl who's Asian, and she's self-deporting. She's 25 years old, and I didn't hear her say what country she's from. She says she's from Southeast Asia. So I don't know if she's Korean, if she's Vietnamese, I don't know, but she's Asian. And you would have no idea she's an illegal. She's been here since she was 17. She speaks perfect English with an American accent. And she's self-deporting. And the reason she's self-deporting is she doesn't want ICE to catch her, because then she won't be able to even attempt to re-enter for 20 years. So she goes through her story, and this just really ticked me off. And I just wanted to share her story with you. And the great work that Kristi Noem is doing, she's self-deporting. She's an illegal alien. She's 25. She's been in the country since she was 17. She's only been here 8 years. She got a couple of incredible gifts being here illegally in the United States. One, she got a college education in the United States, which I'm sure she didn't pay for. Then, what she does for a living is she's a vlogger on YouTube. And she has a 6-figure business from her YouTube channel. And she has brand deals and does commercials and things like you hear me do commercials and such. She does the same thing, except she's illegal. And I'm thinking, how does she have a 6-figure business with brand deals and doing live endorsements for companies when she doesn't have a Social Security number? How are they paying her? How is she earning this money? And she's excited to actually self-deport, and she didn't even try to stay. She said, I could have applied for refugee status or political asylum. I'm not doing that. She says, I'm excited because I can take my 6-figure business and now travel the world with it, and the money goes further. And not only does she have a 6-figure business that, by the way, is still in operation and will not be shuttering up because she's self-deporting, she's still going to have this 6-figure business that she illegally built in this country. She has this American college education she's going to take with her. But one of the great gifts she also has is that she speaks perfect English with an American accent. And it just, and she's living in a beautiful New York City small apartment that now has their vacancy. One of the reasons rents are so high in the country is because illegals are taking up a lot of the rentals. And it's insane what's been going on in this country. And not only would have it continued, it would have grown. The $25 million that Biden brought in his 4 years, it would have doubled in this first year. There would have been $50 million total brought in by now after the first year of a Kamala Harris or second Biden term. You know, and the self-deportation is just another great thing that Kristi Noem is doing. Because she knows if she gets caught, she's not going to be able to come back to the country for at least 20 years if she even got approved then. And this country not just has been invaded, but we were being colonized by people like her. And I'm glad to see them go. I mean, we're not against immigration or immigrants, but you have to do it legally. That's all. And this country not only has always had limitations, even in the earliest days of this country, there was restrictions on who could come here. You couldn't just come to the United States in the 1800s. Big urban legend. They had quotas. They did it by nationality. They did it by country. Only so many Italians, only so many Irish, only so many Chinese. That's how they used to do it back in those days. We've always had restrictions on, we've never had uncontrolled immigration in the United States. Never existed. It's a liberal urban legend. But if you want to hear this girl tell her story, I put the video up on my ex, Brian Craig Show. Don't do it till I go off the air, by the way. But go and check it out, and it just shows the great work that Kristi Noem is doing. How many others have self-deported? We don't even really know, right? I know of others that have self-deported in a similar situation like hers as well. All right, back to the phones on this Open Maga Mike Friday, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, I was watching these protesters in 0 degrees last night, and I'm thinking it has to be mostly paid anarchists that are trying to destroy this country.
Oh, because of the cold weather? Who would go out in the zero?
Yeah. I mean, I'm from New York, and nobody used to like to go out in 0 degrees. Anyway, I'm watching them, and I'm seeing that, you know, ICE people will spray them with mace and use tear gas and do everything they can to try to stop them. But yet these guys have masks on. They have shields on their face. They got umbrellas. They're doing everything. I got an idea. I think they should get ice. I think ice should be spraying them in water, and in 0 degrees they'd be getting out of there pretty quick, because anybody gets sprayed with water in zero doesn't want to be there.
That would get you out of there for sure. Good idea.
That's for sure.
And you don't have to do high power. Just a regular garden hose would do it.
Yeah, just
right.
Bring even a water gun, anything, just to wet them down.
It's like when when the ducks come on my driveway. I get the garden hose out and run them off, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking anyway. But anything's got to help to stop these people, because they know how to protect themselves pretty well, and they can't protect yourself from water. You know, unless they're going to get
good idea.
Snorkeling suits, whatever. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, I think that's something they might want to do. But
all right, Doug.
maybe they're...
Okay, I appreciate the call.
Have a good one.
Sounds like you're out of material. All right, I appreciate the call. All right. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. If you've not already call, schedule your no-charge consultation. I'm going to give you the number in a minute so you get something to write with. Coastal Weight Loss Secret's amazing. It really is. And, you know, I was so nervous about going on a diet because when I first went to Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I did not know what to expect. And I thought that I was going to walk out with a box of terrible food that didn't taste good, and I was only eating little tiny bits of it. And no, nothing. I ate foods I would normally eat. And I'll tell you where do I normally eat? Wings Plus on Sample Road in Coral Springs, about a mile west of University on the south side of Sample. Chipotle, you know, just like I normally would. That's it. I did no exercise. And I was never hungry, and I didn't starve myself. And I lost all this weight, and I've kept it off with no shots, no injections, no pills, no medications. And did I mention zero exercise? Unless you include running my mouth off 3 hours each morning. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You can do it, guys. This is the year you're going to keep that New Year's resolution and lose weight, and you'll keep it off. 561-247-6300. Remember, no matter where you are in the world, they can help you. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Adam, Eastern Missouri.
Hey, Adam in Missouri. What's up?
Hey, I'm stuck in the bathroom. Will you guys?
I'm sure you are. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey there, my name's Bill. I'm from Virginia, originally from Texas.
Okay.
Just want to say, like, I'm a huge fan of the show. I've been watching it for a while.
Oh,
I agree with most of the stuff you say. Huge Trump guy too. I voted for him 3 times.
Of course.
My thing is though, like, you do realize that you've only went really like halfway, right? Like
halfway.
These illegal immigrants are in our country. Trump is going to take them out. But what about the blacks? What about?
Oh, come on. Get off the phone, stupid. You know, didn't I tell you as soon as he said he voted for Trump 3 times? And, you know, this is how the seminar callers are. They think we're so stupid, right? You know, they always have. Do you notice the seminar callers? They always have the accent. You know, he wasn't from Kentucky. His claim was Virginia by way of Texas. Okay, we got the illegals, but what about? And then he starts going through minorities. I think we're stupid. You know, if the MAGA movement was really racist, you wouldn't have to pretend. And notice how they've all voted for Trump. I voted for 3 times. That's part of the training. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. It is open phones on Friday, open MAGA Mike Friday. Our number's toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. Boy, oh boy. They'll never learn. They'll never learn. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. Don't go anywhere. Back after this. Okay.
Hello?
Hey, it's Brian.
What's going on?
Hey,
Brian?
we can do it now coming out of this break, but we just have to be a little shorter, that's all.
All right.
Okay, so hang in there. We've got, let's see, we got about 2 minutes.
All right.
I'm going to put you on hold. I'll be right back with you. Okay, stand by, guys. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, those of you that are, I'm going through this awkward long hair phase. Those are the Patreon supporters. I did a quick live stream for Patreon supporters. It's up there, so if you guys go and check it out, I'll take it down later this morning. If you weren't there live, you can go and check it out. All right, we got 30 seconds. I got to adjust my hat. It's too small for all the hair I have now. All right, we are back. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. And of course, I know everybody knows this. It is tax season. And on the line, we have Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. Jamie Levac, hello.
How you doing, Brian? Good morning, everybody out there.
Yeah, we're all doing great. You know, I'm hearing that people are getting the largest tax returns they've ever gotten. And people, you know, when they call you, Jamie Levac, over at Swift Tax, you know this new tax code inside and out and every which way and every direction. And you're going to make sure that people get all the deductions they're entitled to under the law so they get that maximum return.
Of course. I mean, there has been so many major changes. You know, our president has been talking about, you know, tearing the tax code apart. And, you know, there's some truth to what he says. This year, there is definitely going to be some of the biggest refunds anybody has ever seen. It all depends on your situation. The IRS just opened up. I have started sending out tax returns this week. I know there's people out there that worked all week, and this weekend, the last thing they want to do is go file their taxes. Give me a call. I'll expedite the process. I can have money in your account as little as 24 hours. You know, it's the first weekend. There's a lot of people out there that may owe money to the IRS, and the last thing they want to ever do is deal with the IRS. There's a lot of different programs out there for people who have a big tax bill. There's a program where basically if you file all your taxes, get up to date, and pay your full tax debt for 5 years in a row, they will eliminate every single dollar that you owe prior to signing up with that program.
Wow. I've never heard of that before. See, that's why you guys got to call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He knows.
I mean,
yeah.
There's so many different things. And the problem is that taxes can be stressful, and I tell all my clients the same thing. Call me so I can stress for you. Let me pull out my hair. I'm losing it anyway. What's the point of keeping it now?
Yeah, that's right. Listen, Jamie Levac at Swift Tax is located in Broward County, but he can handle your taxes no matter where you're located in America. So not only your federal taxes, by the way, Jamie Levac at Swift Tax can help with your state taxes if you're in a state that has a state income tax, your business taxes, payroll taxes, whatever involves taxes, Jamie Levac at Swift Tax can help you. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac. You can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. All right, Jamie, we will talk next week.
Sounds good.
All right, take
Brian.
care. All right. Okay, we'll go back to the phones, and on this open Maga mic Friday, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Frenchie from Stewart, Florida.
Hey, Frenchie, what's on your mind?
Hey, I got three topics. Pick one. I saw a story by Megan Wright yesterday.
Well, out of your three stories, pick the one that you think is best. Pick the one you think is best and go with it.
250 Walmart stores are going to close in California.
Oh, not enough illegals to buy the goods, I guess.
No, they're outpriced. They can't afford to keep the stores open. They lose money.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean they're outpriced? What do you mean?
Well, imagine 250 Walmarts closing in Florida. What would that do?
Yeah, you know what? When we had that last government shutdown and the SNAP benefits, food stamps weren't being distributed, I learned something that Walmart. And there's one on every street corner, right? That Walmart's whole business plan is based around food stamps, EBT. I didn't realize how dependent they were on that, but that's a big chunk of their business.
But that's a lot of people going to lose jobs.
Yeah, that's true.
I think California is going to be in a bad way. I hope they vote for Steve Hilton.
Steve Hilton?
He's running for governor.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Steve Hilton's all right. But Steve Hilton, he's better than what they got. But Steve Hilton's got two things. Steve Hilton's been a guest on my podcast. Yeah, and I got nothing against Steve Hilton, but there's two red flags with Steve Hilton, right?
All right.
Do you know what his wife does? And where he lives?
Yeah.
That's
Let me give you a shout out to Steve in Palm City. Where'd he go? I haven't heard from him.
Hold on a second. It's what Steve Hilton. Steve Hilton, he lives in Silicon Valley, and his wife works for Facebook. That's red flag number one. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you know why Steve
Okay.
Hilton is famous? How do you get on Fox? How's he famous?
Yeah, he's on Fox.
Well, no. Do you know how he got that? Why? How did he get that gig? No. This British guy. He was a U.S. citizen.
No, I don't know.
He was a top.
How'd he get it?
He was a top advisor to Tony Blair when he was prime minister. That's another red flag. So I like what Steve Hilton says, but he's got two big red flags: Tony Blair and his wife working for Facebook, and he lives in Silicon Valley. So those are some red flags. Better than Gavin Newsome, but those are problems.
All right. Hey, you better get some thermal underwear. It's going to get cold this weekend.
Oh man, tell me about it. All right, Frenchie, you take care. Oh my goodness. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I got a few things I want to get into before we go back to the phones. One is the Democrats. They're doing this national shutdown today, and they're trying to start a nationwide strike where people don't go to work and they don't buy anything today. And the over the ICE raids, it's a national movement that they're trying to get off the ground, called the national shutdown. The Democrats have tried this before, about 15 or 20 years ago. Remember when they did A Day Without a Mexican? Do you remember that? They had a documentary film called A Day Without a Mexican, and the country was supposed to be able to collapse. Would collapse without Mexicans, and they did a national strike back then as publicity for the release of A Day Without a Mexican, and that failed too. And first of all, one of the problems they have is that a lot of these Democrats don't work. Okay, that's number one. And so far as not buying anything, whatever they don't buy today, they'll just buy tomorrow or the next day. So it's a big symbolism thing they're trying to get off the ground. I've seen them try these national strikes. I'm sure the CNN, MS Now crowd are going to run with this like it's some big heroic thing and they're a bunch of freedom riders and all this business, but it's going to fail. And there's another big fake news story that's being promoted out there, and that's Tim Walz. He gave that interview and he said he's not going to run for office again. I don't believe that. Him saying he's not going to run, to me, is an announcement that he plans on running for something. Tim Walz doesn't think he's some bumbling fool like we think. He knows he got nominated to be vice president with Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris, and he's a national figure, and he's got a lot of national attention. And he's now, this doesn't mean he's going to run, and certainly not even if he did that he would win. But Tim Walz does plan on running, whether it's for the United States Senate or it's for president of the United States in the next presidential election. There's all this talk of having Amy Klobuchar leave the Senate, which she has a lifetime guaranteed seat with, to run for governor against Mike Lindell. That opens that up. Okay? They will have a special election and all of that if need be, and he plans on probably taking that Senate seat. Remember, Tim Walz came from the House before he was governor. So he's got his eye either on the Senate seat of Klobuchar or running for president. Don't believe this nonsense that he's never running for office. George Washington turned the presidency down. What? How goes the story? 3 times? That's all he's doing. So, and he can have this fake narrative going as if they came to him and have asked him to run. So no, I don't buy that Tim Walz is not going to run for office. He most definitely is planning on running for office. Make no mistake about it. What you got to understand with these lunatics on the left, they don't view themselves as lunatics. They think we're the crazies, right? And there's a lot of money in running for office and losing too. People make a lot of money for themselves and their families when they run for office and lose. They get all their families working on the campaign. They pay them huge salaries and consultation fees and all this stuff. So believe me, this guy, he's not fading away. He's too famous right now in the world of politics, and he views himself as the governor of ground zero for political news right now. So don't believe this, that Tim Walz isn't planning on running for office. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break of the 8 o'clock hour. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hello?
Hey, Barry, it's Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, we have just under a minute. I'm going to put you on hold. I'll be right back with you.
All right.
All right, stand by. All right, and it's time to check in from attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us today?
Well, you shared with me the other day about the fact that you've added new stations, so we have a lot of new listeners, people who may not be familiar with us as much as many of the old-time listeners, the long-time listeners. So I just want to give some general information about ourselves and our firm to start off today. And just, our practice has been around for 24 years here in South Florida. I'm actually a native South Floridian. And all we do is estate planning, elder law, and probate, trust administration, and asset protection. That's all we do. So if you're looking for an injury attorney, a ticket clinic, a divorce, anything like that, we certainly don't do those things. We feel it's important to stay in our lane and do what we know best, and we're happy to refer you out to those that we know are good. But the important thing is, what we do is help protect families' legacies, help protect people's assets, help make sure that the assets that you leave to your loved ones are protected, help people avoid probate and guardianship, and really make sure that they end up with peace of mind, because there's a difference between having an estate plan that is designed not only to take care of your loved ones after your death, but having one that is designed to protect you during your lifetime. Because what good is a great estate plan if you lose it all during your lifetime in case you or your spouse become ill? As an elder law attorney, we are able to set things up in a way for most people where they don't have to spend down their assets and go broke. If either of them need care at home, assisted living, nursing home, any of those things, which are very expensive. So it's very comprehensive.
Absolutely. And when you call the Siegel Law Group, mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the program, and you can take advantage of the no-charge in-office consultation. Give him a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great cold weekend, and if you don't freeze to death, we'll talk next week.
All right. I'll look forward to speaking with you next week.
Wind chill in the 20s in Boca this weekend.
Ouch.
I know. Take care. All right. Oh, my goodness. I know. I don't have clothes for that. All right. Now, so many of the things that President Trump is doing are things that they said were impossible, that other presidents just have not even tried to do. And President Trump, yesterday, he signed an executive order declaring a national emergency in regards to Cuba. I'm going to play a couple. This is Bret Baier on Fox. And, Bret Baier, he's really tight with Trump. I follow Bret Baier on Instagram. Bret Baier lives right down the street from Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach, and he hangs out at Mar-a-Lago and with the president all the time. So maybe you don't, in the past, maybe you haven't agreed with him in the past, but he is pals with President Trump, especially this time of year when the Palm Beach crowd are all in town because it's wintertime, right? That's when they come to Palm Beach. But this is Bret Baier last night talking about Trump and his Cuba executive order.
Trump has signed an executive order declaring a national emergency and establishing a process to impose tariffs on goods from countries that sell or otherwise provide oil to Cuba. The White House says the measure will protect U.S. national security and foreign policy from what it calls the Cuban regime's malign actions and policies.
This is huge. So we've cut off the oil from Venezuela, but they're still getting oil from other places. Where? I don't know. Iran, Russia, China. Here's the president last night at the Melania movie premiere on Cuba.
Cuba?
I don't know. The word choke off is awfully tough. Cuba is a failing nation, and you have to feel badly for Cuba. They've treated people very badly. We have a lot of Cuban Americans who really were treated very badly, and they'd probably like to go back. And no, I'm not trying to, but it looks like it's something that's just not going to be able to survive. I think Cuba will not be able to survive.
What's your opinion about the UK getting involved?
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, they are choking off Cuba. They're cutting off the oil, and the regime will collapse. This is a great thing. The deal that the Kennedys made with Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis was just awful. And the rest of the world, while we have an embargo on Cuba, the rest of the world do not. And it's still in poverty. And countries are smuggling oil in there, and he's going to stop it. They cannot survive without the oil. They cannot keep the light. They don't even when they were getting all this oil from Venezuela, they weren't keeping the electricity running 24 hours a day like we have here. And they need to, if they don't keep the electricity on, they're going to collapse. So, under President Trump's second term, think about some of the things that have happened, right? Shut down the southern border, mass deportations, mass self-deportations, shut off illegal drug importation by 97%, maybe 98%, but at least 97%. Americans are going to the moon next week. Later this year, Americans will walk on the moon again for the first time in over 50 years. And Cuba's going to fall. Something about Greenland. I am reading a book. I saw this woman. I can't remember the name of the book. I'll see if during the break I can grab it. I saw a Chinese dissident interviewed on Right Side Broadcasting. And she has to take over the United States. Very good book. And I just started reading it. I got the book, saw her on Right Side Broadcasting. My wife ordered the book for me, and I started reading it last night. Do you know that the Chinese last year were trying to build 2 airports in Greenland? The projects fell apart. I'm not exactly sure why. But the Chinese were trying to build 2 airports in Greenland just last year. Why would they do that? Why would they need 2 with so few people? So President Trump proven right again on China making their move on Greenland. All right, let's go to the phones. It is open phones on Friday, open MAGA mic Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Edward from West Palm.
Hey, what's up, West Palm?
I have a question, Brian. You know, we're the military might of the world. We go in, we pick up Maduro in Venezuela. Why can't we discover who's funding all these miscreants in Minneapolis and New York, all these professional agitators? Yep. Why is it so difficult to trace the money?
I think they've done it. And if you remember, a couple months ago, President Trump had a roundtable meeting at the White House with citizen journalists who had been covering the anti-ICE riots and Antifa, and most of them were young, if you remember. And that was the beginning of it. They met with them, and if you go back and watch that, it was televised. If you go back, they were telling him some of the names of people that were funding it, first and last names. And President Trump was connecting them with the appropriate cabinet members and Susie Wiles in that meeting live. So they've been doing that. And I believe what they've been doing is infiltrating these groups in Minneapolis and maybe in other parts of the country too with federal agents to not just find out who's doing it, but to find out everybody that's involved in the network at every organization and shut them completely down. I really believe that. You know, the government did this after 9/11. The Fed started infiltrating mosques, right? They're doing the same thing with these anti-ICE and Antifa organizations now. So they know who. And we've been hearing names. There was the one guy from Canada we were hearing about.
Yeah, and I know there's one guy, he's an American who lives in Chicago, who lives in China, and
And in fact, if you the lead story on Fox right now on their website, China-based millionaire accused of bankrolling far-left unrest in Minneapolis. China, a Chinaman. It's a lead story right now on Fox, and my guess would be that story was given to Fox by the Trump administration to get it out there. So what I'm telling you is they're doing all these things.
Yeah, I just think at this juncture that they should be more forthcoming with where this funding is coming from, because we've all seen on TV these U-Haul trucks pulling up, and all the signs are already made up, and they're all the same. And
when I went undercover at that No Kings event, and by the way, the reason I went undercover is because I didn't feel safe with my MAGA stuff on, right? And if you go and watch my documentary at the No Kings March, I asked most of them the same question. Tell me about your sign. First guy, I don't know what it says on my sign. They just gave it to me. And then I went and I embedded my way in to where the organizers were, and I show the box of all the pre-made fake signs. They had boxes of them. I went and filmed them and everything. It's on my Twitter, my ex, Brian Craig Show, from the No Kings. Right. But this lead story Fox right now: China-based millionaire bankrolling far-left unrest in Minneapolis, and there's no doubt that Homeland Security or the Justice Department gave that to Fox.
And I understand he makes frequent trips to the U.S. and they can't interdict him anyplace.
Well, maybe they don't want to, right? Maybe they either will flip him. This guy's got a lot of CCP connections. Maybe they can flip him to get intel from him, or maybe they're monitoring to find out who he associates with and who he communicates with and how those he communicates with operate. Now, there's no way that the Trump and notice with all these, Pam Bondi always out of the loop. It's always Kristi Noem, Tulsi Gabbard, right? You never hear Pam Bondi involved in any of this. I think they're getting to it, but they're not. He's not doing it in a public way so much of coming out and telling us what's going on. You got to trust in Trump.
Well, I do. I mean, I'm a Trumper forever, and you know, a long-time listener, first-time caller. It's just been bothering me all week that they're like it's like a slow dripping tap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little bit of information and then nothing, and then a little bit of information.
Well, here's the thing:
and
the guy from China that's funding it. Why is he doing it? He's really working for the CCP, right? It's really China that's doing it. It's much bigger. The guy might be a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire, but it's bigger than them.
Yeah, but my point is that if you know where the funding is coming from, why don't you shut it down, and why don't you stop all this nonsense and ICE agents getting hurt? I mean, isn't that what we're looking for?
It's happening. Well, what do you want to do? Do you could, if you're fighting the war on drugs, you can send local cops to go around and arrest local dealers, right? Somebody that, or do you want to get Maduro? Which does more? Right? Getting Maduro. Right? So when you find a guy like this millionaire, he's got bigger people above him that they're after. They're going. You look at everything that President Trump's doing. He's doing a massive global reset. I was just talking before your call. I just read yesterday that last year China was trying to close a deal to build 2 airports in Greenland. That's why Trump's made this move in Greenland. He got the deal in Greenland. This thing I was talking about a few minutes ago, that President Trump's putting tariffs on countries giving oil to Cuba because he's trying to get the Cuban regime collapsed. President Trump is taking down China, Russia, and other evildoers around the country. And what he'll do with this Chinese funder that we're talking about right now, he'll use that to bring down China. Believe me, President Trump's got a big picture. He knows what he's doing. And just to give us to give us some immediate, a little dopamine hit by getting this one particular millionaire when there's a bigger play going on. You want to wait for the bigger play, in my view. With that being said, that doesn't mean that Brennan shouldn't have been arrested by now, or Comey.
Right. But Brian, I wouldn't underestimate the president, and I've never have done. And it's like all that happened in Minneapolis was that he always intended to put Holman in there. Always.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
but I mean, you agree with me that we probably now have dozens of federal agents that have infiltrated that whole movement?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what's been going on here, and I think the media know it.
But I don't understand the delay when we have so much information. Who's behind it? Who's funding it? Why we don't shut it down, and why we allow the violence to continue?
Well, the violence is not going to continue. It's already slowing down. Listen, I'm late for the break. I just looked at the clock. I apologize. I got to run, but good call. Thanks so much. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Back after this. Jeez. If you're on hold, guys, stand by. My phone's blowing up with text messages, too. Everyone's text messaging me. Okay. We'll be back in just over a minute. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Oh, it's very hectic. You know, I was. Don't forget, guys, that our Patreon supporters. I did a quick live stream right before I went on the air, and I'll leave that up for a little bit after the show. Okay, 30 seconds. Oh, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go right to the phones when we get back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Get in. It's open phones every Friday on the program. Open Maga Mike Friday, the day you can call in about any and everything on your mind. Monday through Thursday, you got to talk about what we want to talk about. Although it's sometimes tough to herd you guys in to do that, but we fight hard. And on Friday, the show prep is up to you and the listening audience. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Miss Faye. I'm calling from Texas, Austin, Texas area.
All right.
And good morning, Brian. I love your show. And I marched, I want to say, happy Martin Luther King. No, I'm sorry. I'm nervous. But happy Black History Month, the whole month. And I just want my people and the country to be come together and be in unity. Dr. King and Jesus, neither one, they didn't die for our country to be defeated and split up like this.
Let me ask you:
So
Are you
purpose.
the nice lady that called me a couple weeks ago about and that marched with Martin Luther King? Yeah, you called me right at the end of the show. We didn't get to talk. So you actually marched in the King marches during the Civil Rights Movement. That's amazing.
You are so smart, Brian. You remember that from way then. That's your great gift, and you just gifted. And I love to listen at you every morning.
Let me ask you a question here. You know, Martin Luther King was a Republican. There was an incident. What happened with Martin Luther King? He got arrested by a Democrat sheriff in Georgia. And this is when Nixon and Kennedy were running for president in 1960, and this racist Democrat sheriff took Martin Luther King off to the county jail. And you guys got to understand there was no media like we have today, no internet, and Coretta Scott King was afraid that the sheriff was gonna lynch Dr. King. And so she was frantic. She called Vice President Nixon to try to get him out. He couldn't get him out of the jail, Nixon, because the sheriff was a Democrat. She got a hold of Bobby. She got a hold of Bobby Kennedy, and Bobby Kennedy got his brother, President Kennedy, on the phone with the sheriff, and the sheriff released him. And the Kennedys made a deal. They made a deal with Martin Luther King. All right. If he would come out of the jail and endorse Senator Kennedy for president, they'd get him out. And that's why
That's the way you do it.
That's why Martin Luther King became a Democrat, but he was a Republican at heart. And I'm glad to see that Black Americans are returning home to the Republican Party that freed the slaves.
Oh, I am. That's my dream, and that's what I do. You know how you say Merry Christmas during the Christmas season?
Yeah.
When you're out and about, Merry Christmas. I say, Happy Black History Month. You know, they look at me like, that's a weird little old lady, but yeah, I like it. So looky, I'm going to see Melania.
Oh, good.
Today.
I'm going to see it too. All right. Let me
Yeah.
know what you think. Yeah, everyone got to go see Melania this weekend. And I have not been to the movie theater since 2019, and I am returning to support Melania, and you need to as well. We need to get that box office up high and support Melania. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Oh, hey, Jay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not calling about the fact that they just arrested Don Lemon.
Don Lemon got arrested?
calling.
Oh, my goodness.
They just took him into custody.
All
He's
right.
gonna get off. A bunch of Nazis doing it.
Oh, my God.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
10
go
minutes.
to
Oh,
what
no,
I'm
no,
calling
no.
about.
Slow down. This is awesome news. Don Lemon has been
Yeah, but
arrested.
That's not what I want to talk about.
I'm
even though I
sure it's
told you
not. I'm sure it's not. Hold on. I'm here till 9. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, let me pull this up. Federal agents arrested Don Lemon over Minnesota church
Did you
protest.
pull my door closed?
What's that?
No, I was asking the nurse to close my door.
Oh, you're in the hospital?
Again, yeah.
Mental?
Huh? I said I'm in the hospital again.
Psych
yes,
ward?
but that's
Psych
not what
ward?
I'm calling about.
Psych ward? You in the psych ward?
You was in when you was in there.
Oh, okay, that's not it now. Don
Okay,
Lemon.
Let's talk about what I called about.
Hold on. Let me just read the little bit of this, and we'll talk about what you called in about, okay? Don Lemon arrested by federal authorities. This is MS Now. Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was arrested by federal authorities on Thursday night. He was taken into custody in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammys, according to his attorney. Wow. It was not immediately clear why Don Lemon was arrested. However, the Justice Department has said they're going to pursue charges against Lemon over the church protest. Wow, this is great. All right, no man's above the law, even rich people like Don Lemon. All right.
That's what rich people get off like that nut that we got in the office. Okay, think about it. He's a 34 convicted felon, and he got off, didn't he? But that's not what I called about. Can I go into that part?
Yeah.
Okay, what I called about. You was talking about Kathy Griffin and the fact that Kathy Griffin said that the people are being put into concentration camps. I'm just going to say this. I want to say this. One, in Germany, they went around and they collected people off the streets and out of houses, and they brutally took them into places and stuck them into different places. We're going to people's houses, we're going to the streets, and we're collecting people and we're putting them in buildings. Concentration camps. Don't you care?
Okay.
Are you MAGA people too
the difference,
stupid to see that's what
okay.
it is?
There's many differences between.
What's the difference?
I'm going to tell you. You're in the hospital. Should you be so upset?
Yes.
Okay. There's many differences between the Nazis rounding up the Jews and us arresting illegals. Okay. The Germans, the Germans were arresting German citizens and were deporting German citizens. We're not deporting American citizens. We're deporting illegal aliens.
Are you dumb and stupid? Do you know Americans is mixed up in this mess?
Not South Americans are not Americans. I'm sorry. Central Americans are not Americans. I appreciate the call. I want to talk about Don Lemon. New York Times. Don Lemon was arrested late Thursday night on charges that he violated federal law during a protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota, his lawyer said. Mr. Lemon has said he was simply reporting as a journalist. Protesters interrupted a service at the church where ICE officials serves as a pastor and chanted "ICE out." Afterward, the Trump administration sought to charge 8 people over the episode, including Don Lemon, citing a law that protects people seeking to participate in a service in a house of worship. A magistrate judge who reviewed evidence approved charges against only 3, rejecting one against Don Lemon. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards, his lawyer said in a statement. Lemon has been a journalist for 30 years. This is awesome. Don Lemon is scheduled to appear in federal court in Los Angeles on Friday morning. They're 3 hours behind us. Now that he has been arrested, he's likely to challenge the prosecution's case by arguing he was not protesting, but rather covering the event as a journalist. That's not going to hold up. If you're on hold, stand by. Before we break, I can't believe it's time. It's that time of year again. Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Tom Laporta himself, as well as Scott and Jim and Kristen and Tom. They're all going to be together at the Greek festivals over the weekend here in South Florida. And there's 2 of them, okay? One is at, let me see, I'm make sure I get the right ones. St. Dimitri's in Fort Lauderdale and St. Mark's in Boca over the weekend. Both have Greek festivals on the same day. Again, Fort Lauderdale is St. Dimitri's, and the Boca Raton is at St. Mark's. And let me tell you something. Not only can you meet Tom Laporta and his crew at the Greek festivals are awesome. The food is spectacular. My family on my mother's side is Greek. My mom's adopted. That's why I don't look Greek. But Greek food is awesome. The Greek festivals are awesome. And Tom Laporta and Laporta Roofing will be there. So stop by again at the Greek Festival in Fort Lauderdale at St. Dimitri's and in Boca at St. Mark's over the weekend. Look for Tom Laporta and his crew. All right. I am Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take a break and be back with the Gold Report.
Of what's going to happen here.
All right. Have a minute, and then we'll be back. I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll be back. 1 minute. All right, stand by. This is awesome. Awesome. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with Friday's Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals look today?
Metals look like a major pullback is taking place.
Of course,
after hitting record highs. Of course, we could expect this, and people have been waiting for this. And now we're finally getting that buying opportunity that many of you sat on the sidelines and said, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and now you can. It takes a little guts to do it, though, but we're at the point now where we've just about wiped out all the gains from the last 1 or 2 weeks that we had those meteoric gains in the metals, and that's giving us an opportunity to buy gold, silver, platinum, everything on sale today. Yesterday, was an amazing day. We saw gold trade in a range of, get this, $5,106 on the low, all the way up to a record high of $5,596 in the evening before coming down on the day and closing down $35 at $5,379. But $5,379 indicates a very strong comeback from that $5,106 number low. Silver got down as low as $115.47 on the close, which was down $1.08. Platinum closed down $67 at $2,637, and palladium was down $50 at $19.94. Overnight, gold trading in wild ranges, under 4,900 all the way up to 54.52. That was more in the late evening hours. Then gold closed right now is not closed. It's at $5,017.50. That's down $361.50. That's the biggest loss we've ever seen on gold. But we've also at the highest prices gold has ever been. So when we take into consideration that gold was $4,500 just a month ago, we're still at $5,017.50. So, but that's a nice pullback, $361.50. Silver down $17.39 right now at $98 the ounce. Platinum down $337 at $2,300, and palladium down $187 at $1,807 the ounce. So, as you've said many times, the metals are on sale today, and that's a fact.
Yeah,
we do have inventory in stock, so you can take advantage of this dip and add to your portfolios, or maybe get a start in your portfolio at a great savings today.
Yeah, and the other thing is the metals are so high. These swings, me personally, I don't consider them big swings because we're so high now. We just got to get used to bigger numbers on the ups and the downs. That's all, right? I mean, am I wrong about that?
Brian, I totally did not hear what you said.
Oh, I said
totally garbled.
Oh, okay. I said, with these swings, gold and silver is so high, we just got to get used to bigger swings both up and down. That's like the new normal with the metals, right?
I can't understand.
Well, we got a bad connection, but I'm just going to give out your number, and we'll talk on Monday. All right, give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. His number is 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Stop in if you can. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1, Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto. And you can find both his phone number and address on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday. Okay, we got a bad connection, but that's okay. I get it. All right, if you're just tuning in, Don Lemon is behind bars in L.A. He's in jail. Don Lemon is in jail under federal custody in Los Angeles. This is so exciting. Oh, man, you're on the air. What's your name?
Good.
Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Patty from New Jersey.
Oh, man, Don Lemon's in jail in L.A.
I know. I just was calling to tell you 16 seconds ago they just announced Don Lemon got arrested this morning.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to call into about this Friday is I really hope that the American people switch all of their attention from what's happening in a small city in Minneapolis or Minnesota to what's going on down in Georgia. What I want to know is, yes, it's all fine and well and good that we're going to correct the record and, say, yes, Trump was right, the election was stolen. But I want to start thinking about what happened to Mayor Giuliani. All right, that man, I forget what his name is, the one that was connected with Smartmatic or Dominion, the one that crashed his car into the front of a building out by his bar or something,
Well, Giuliani Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
They ruined that man.
Mayor Giuliani is broke. They've taken everything from him. I mean, and
everything.
And I say this a lot, and people, he is an American hero. He is the first war hero of 9/11. He took charge of Ground Zero when everybody in the rest of the government, including President Bush, was running. And he took charge. He's an American hero, and I hope that he lives to be totally clear. My only thing about the reason I'm not talking too much about it is because we don't know too much yet, right? And I'm just I don't know how much evidence is around 6 years later. When they start releasing things, I'll talk about it more. Right now, it's just a vague generality, and I don't want to get our hopes up.
Right. Well, I can tell you, I think if they're in there, they've got enough proof of something going on, and I really honestly think that it's all going to come out. I hope that people like Mike Lindell, Mayor Giuliani, not only did he get us through 9/11, he also got the mob under control.
That's true.
And
that's true.
And he is absolutely an American hero, and what they did to that man is
it's disgusting. He's a modern day Audie Murphy. He's the Audie Murphy of 9/11. Yep. And people have forgotten that about Mayor Giuliani, but he's a great man.
And the other thing is that those two women that were pulling the ballots out from under the table and scanning them, they sued that man into bankruptcy.
Yes, they did. All right, listen, I gotta run. I'm almost out of time. I want to take some more calls, but I appreciate the call. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Before I go back to the calls, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Guys, it works. And not only does it work, keeping the weight off is so easy. I have not gained 1 ounce of the weight I've lost, and it's been totally effortless. And I tell you guys, the reason it's been effortless is because there's no major lifestyle changes with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. If you want to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 150 pounds, 350 pounds or even more, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you no matter where you're located. Remember, there are no shots, no injections, no pills, all right? And when you lose the weight, you look great like I do, all natural. Give them a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. They can help you lose weight no matter where you're located in the world. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Paul from Delray.
Hey, Paul.
Good morning. I want to say Dr. Gupta is the greatest dentist in the world. He made a bridge and a sleep apnea mouth device for me, and I'm doing great as a result of it. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you.
And I just listened to that poor person on the phone who was in the hospital who's so upset the way things are going. My heart goes out to them. But it seems like for some reason when I listen to people, their information, it sounds like the inmates are running the asylum and they want to be called the normal. It's just not normal what we're hearing, the way people are.
Well, if you noticed, you're talking about Jay from Jersey. When he said he was in the hospital, I asked him if he was in the psych ward, and he didn't say no.
I know it. And I just feel bad for a person being so upset, but the information they have is wrong, and they're acting on it, and they're getting upset with it. And it's just very sad that that's the way things are today.
Mm-hmm. All right.
The inmates cannot run the asylum. We have to do a better job, and we are.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate the call, and thanks for the shout-out to Dr. Gupta. That's our dentist.
You're great. Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right, Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I'll just give his number because he mentioned him. He's a great dentist. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Charles from Stewart.
Hey, what's up, Stuart? Did you hear Don Lemon's in jail in L.A.?
Yes. Well, people like that, they just, they're so impressed with themselves,
Yeah.
But, I was thinking about this, Brian. I'm thinking, all this turmoil, all this anti-Trump stuff is because he won, number one. That's one thing. But what I don't understand, this is what really ticked me off in the beginning, is you don't just let anybody around the world come into the country. It's like, how come the left doesn't follow the law.
Do you know? I'll give you an example. If you take a cruise to Alaska, right? If you take an Alaskan cruise, and you have to go through Canadian waters and pay Canadian port charges. Do you know if you have a DUI, you can't take an Alaskan cruise? They won't let you enter their waters if you've had a DUI, Canada. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
And the Democrats are letting rapists and murderers into our country.
Oh, it's so incredible. It's unbelievable. It's just that's the one thing I think the whole crux of the matter is just that stupid Biden let anybody in the country who know nothing about. It's just so incredible. But I just wanted to.
Well, listen, I'm out of time. I only have 30 seconds, so I appreciate the call. All right, take care. Hold on. No, we're out of time. No more calls. Don Lemon is in jail in Los Angeles. This is very exciting, and later today he'll be in court. Unfortunately, federal courts aren't televised, but I'm sure he'll have a press conference when he walks out of the courthouse. I can't wait. I'll be watching that. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back Monday at 6 a.m. Have a great weekend. Stay warm. See you then. All right, I'm going to take one or two more calls, but I got an appointment I got to run to, so I can't stay too long. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, good morning. I'm calling from Michigan.
Hey, Michigan.
My name is Faye.
Hey, Michigan.
Hi, how you guys doing this morning? I love your show.
Thank
you
you.
do such a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I was calling to comment. I am shocked. I don't understand the liberals thinking, but why would anyone protest against these immigrants, being removed and being removed? It doesn't make any sense at all. And the fraud, these child care centers that have no children has been proven, and it just keeps unfolding with all this fraud.
Yep.
And then, I can't say her name correctly right now.
Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar.
I was shocked when I saw the video of how many illegals there was and how much money she has gained illicitly.
Crazy.
I am and I'm going to try to be quick. I am in a wheelchair and I am disabled.
Mm-hmm.
And I am upset because of how many of the legal immigrants have collected full welfare benefits from DHS, and here are natural citizens that are they're legitimate, hurting, and in need, and it's taken away from them, from natural citizens that are in need, getting help.
Exactly.
On the budget.
Exactly. I know.
So here
it's
we
terrible.
Here we are getting, the lowest amount, $23 a month in food stamps.
Oh my goodness.
And then a month, and trying to live on, below the poverty level, whereas an illegal is getting
millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. 19 billion. The Somalis stole in Minneapolis. I know, it's crazy. Well, listen, I got to run, but I do appreciate the call. I'm sorry you didn't get in earlier, but call me again.
That's okay. I'll call back another time, and you have a blessed day. You do a wonderful job, Brian.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I got to run because I have an appointment that's actually right now that I got to take care of. But if you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where Maga comes to talk. My name is Brian Craig. I'll talk to you next time. Don Lemon arrested. Pretty awesome, huh? Doesn't get better than that.